Chapter 5382. In fact, Lin Feng's father's name was also a taboo. However, Lin Feng's father was too strong. When a cultivator was strong enough, naturally, they could ignore all of this. Of course, some people paid more attention to naming things, while others didn't care at all. In Lin Feng's opinion, it made sense to pay attention to names. After all, this was the world of cultivators. Things like heavenly wrath, heavenly punishment, and breaking taboos were common occurrences in the world of cultivators. Wan Shitian said, "We cultivators should go against the heavens. We don't need to care about the heavenly Tao or taboo." There were naturally many people who had the same idea as Wan Shitian. Of course, Lin Feng didn't want to influence other people's opinions. Lin Feng asked, "What do you plan to do next?" Wan Shitian said, "I'm preparing to break through to the Sage Realm. If I break through to the Sage Realm, I won't be in such a sorry state when I meet someone as strong as the Netherworld Ghost Elder." Lin Feng believed Wan Shitian's words. Wan Shitian hadn't entered the Sage Realm yet. However, his battle prowess was enough to contend with many Sage Realm experts. However, the Netherworld Ghost Elder Lin Feng and the others had encountered was too strong. Lin Feng said, "You're on the verge of breaking through, but you still can't break through. I think the problem lies in your cultivation heart." Cultivation heart? Wan Shitian couldn't help but frown. Lin Feng nodded. "You need to come into contact with the aura of the mortal world. You need to feel how people live in the mortal world. That's cultivation heart." "You mean I should enter the world of cultivators and live there for a while?" Wan Shitian asked. "Yes." Lin Feng nodded. "If I enter the world of cultivators, won't I be surrounded and beaten to death? I know my limits." Wan Shitian pursed his lips. Lin Feng said, "You can transform into a human. Then you won't be afraid of being recognized." Wan Shitian slapped his head. "I really didn't think of that. Damn, is there something wrong with your brain?" Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He said, "Why don't you come back to Shangyang City with me? That way, we can take care of each other." Wan Shitian thought about it. He felt that Lin Feng's words made some sense. He couldn't break through. Perhaps he really did need to experience in the mortal world. Wan Shitian nodded and said, "All right, I'll follow you to Shuiyang City. I've never been to a cultivator city before." Wan Shitian nodded. Shangyang City, Shangyang City, Shangyang City, Shangyang City, and Shangyang, 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 Shangyang. He looked a little evil, especially his eyes, which made people's hearts palpitate. Very quickly, Lin Feng and Wan Shitian arrived outside of Shangyang City. Said Wan Shitian, "I was thinking of devouring Shangyang City after I became a saint." Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. He naturally didn't doubt the authenticity of Wan Shitian's words. Since Wan Shitian said so, it meant that he really wanted to do it. Lin Feng asked, "Why?" "It's called a bang," Wan Shitian said. Lin Feng roughly understood what Wan Shitian meant. Wan Shitian's words were easy to understand. This guy wanted to make himself famous. How to make himself famous? Attacking cultivator cities was naturally the easiest way to become famous. If Wan Gobbling Heaven succeeded, his name would definitely shake the eastern region. At that time, many powerful existences, be it cultivators, fierce beasts, or unknown existences, would know of his great name. Said Lin Feng, "Those ancient cities have been blessed. Even if you break through to the Shanglair, you won't necessarily be able to attack them. Besides, there are many strong cultivators in those cities. If you attack them, you'll probably die," said Lin Feng. Wan Shitian said, "I'm not stupid. Of course I understand this. I won't come alone. When the time comes, I'll start a beast riot. At the same time, I'll contact a few other terrifying existences to attack Shangyang City. I'm sure they'll be very interested in this matter." Lin Feng couldn't help but smile wryly. Wan Shitian couldn't do it alone, but if they followed his plan, they might be able to conquer Wangyang City. After all, Wangyang City wasn't a particularly big city. Even though it was blessed, it couldn't be compared to the best cities. Lin Feng smiled wryly. Wan Shitian continued, "But I've made up my mind. Who told Shangyang City to be your territory? Let's just forget about it." Lin Feng said, "There are many ways to become famous. There's no need to do something like this. Wan Shutian said, "This world is very cruel. Whoever has the biggest fist is right." Wan Shutian's words made sense, so Lin Feng couldn't find anything to refute him. However, since Wan Shutian was willing to give up on attacking Shangyang City, Lin Feng was relieved. After returning to his residence, the middle-aged man came to collect the rent. Lin Feng had given Hong Yu 10 million high-grade immortal stones. He kept it as a backup. Therefore, Lin Feng wasn't worried about owing the other party rent. Hong Yu was very happy to see Lin Feng return. Her beautiful eyes seemed to be able to pierce through the limpid autumn waters. She hadn't seen Lin Feng for a long time. She missed Lin Feng dearly. Seeing Lin Feng return, her eyes almost melted. Hong Yu gave the rent to the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man greeted Lin Feng and left. "Who's this?" Hong Yu looked at Lin Feng suspiciously. Wan Shutian bared his teeth and said eerily, "Don't you remember who I am? We've met before." Hong Yu tried hard to remember, but she couldn't remember where she'd seen him before. Although Wan Shutian looked eerie, Hong Yu wasn't afraid of him. She knew he was doing it on purpose. In her opinion, Wan Shutian should be Lin Feng's friend. Or else, Lin Feng wouldn't have brought him to their residence. "I really don't remember you," Hong Yu said. "You're right," said Lin Feng. "That's the Taodai that chased us before," said Lin Feng. "What? He's the Taodai that chased us?" Hong Yu's beautiful face turned pale. She quickly hid behind Lin Feng and secretly glanced at Wan Shutian. Obviously, Hong Yu had long been traumatized by Wan Shutian. Sogu. Chapter 5383. Lin Feng said, "Don't be afraid of him. Now that he's in our territory, we just need to go out and shout, and a large group of people will come in to kill him. We won't even need to do anything. He'll die a miserable death." Hearing Lin Feng's words, Hong Yu burst out laughing. Wan Shutian kept glancing at Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "It's just a joke. Why are you looking at me like that?" Wan Shutian said, "I have to prevent you from exposing me." After Lin Feng's interference, Hong Yu was no longer afraid of Wan Shutian. She said, "Don't worry, the young master isn't that kind of person." Wan Shutian nodded. He naturally knew that Lin Feng wasn't that kind of person. If Lin Feng wanted to deal with him, he wouldn't have needed gluttony Taoists to save him. Thus, there was no need to go through so much trouble. Lin Feng arranged a place for Wan Shutian to stay. After everyone knew that Lin Feng had returned, they all came to look for Lin Feng. Lin Feng introduced both sides, but Lin Feng didn't tell anyone about Wan Shutian's true identity. It wasn't that Lin Feng didn't trust others, but because there were too many people around, and if someone accidentally let it slip, if that happened, they would be attacked by a group, and they might not be able to leave Shangyang City alive. After making arrangements for Wan Shutian, everyone went out for dinner. At the same time, it was a celebration to welcome Wan Shutian. Niu Dashan didn't know Wan Shutian's true identity, so he didn't care about anything. When drinking, he directly put his arm around Wan Shutian's shoulder. One moment, they would call each other Big Brother, and the next moment, they would call each other Big Brother. Wan Shutian was so depressed that he rolled his eyes. However, he thought of what Lin Feng had said about cultivating the heart. The relationships in the world of cultivators were very complicated, and it was very different from his original world. Therefore, Wan Shutian didn't get angry. He needed to gradually get used to the relationships in the world of cultivators. Only then could he cultivate the heart and break through to the saint realm. Therefore, Wan Shutian and Niu Dashan began to chat. Seeing the two of them chatting together, Lin Feng was naturally quite happy. He was worried that Wan Shutian would not be able to tolerate this and leave in a huff. This wouldn't look good for anyone. Fortunately, Wan Shutian remembered what he had told him before. When they returned in the evening, Lin Feng pulled Hong Yu to his residence. Hong Yu's face was completely red. He said that he didn't want to go, but he was dragged by Lin Feng. In the end, he followed Lin Feng to Lin Feng's residence. That night was just too important for Hong Yu, because she had officially turned from an inexperienced woman into a young married woman. When she woke up the next day, she found Lin Feng looking at her. Hong Yu couldn't help but blush. "What are you looking at?" Hong Yu asked. "I'm looking at a beauty. She's too beautiful." I can't get enough of her, Lin Feng said with a smile. After hearing Lin Feng's praise, Hong Yuer immediately became happy. The two of them only got up when the sun was high up in the sky. During lunch, everyone looked at Lin Feng and Hong Yuer ambiguously. In fact, the relationship between the two had already been revealed to everyone by Chu Yuan, that big mouth. Therefore, Lin Feng would live with Hong Yuer sooner or later. In everyone's hearts, only an extraordinary cultivator like Lin Feng could be a good match for their leader. Lin Feng rested for 3 days. During these 3 days, he brought Wan Shitian to many places. He let Wan Shitian familiarize himself with the situation in Shangyang City. After that, Lin Feng planned to go into seclusion. This time, there were many things that needed to be done. For example, he would study the stone scriptures. Another example would be to see if there was anything good in the 5th layer of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace. Therefore, this seclusion was very important for Lin Feng. Lin Feng told everybody that he was going to meditate in seclusion. Then, Lin Feng went back to his room and sealed it with some deployment spells. This was to prevent anyone from disturbing his seclusion. After that, Lin Feng entered the time-space. Lin Feng first spent a month to adjust his body and familiarize himself with the power of the Sky Immortal Realm. Now that he broke through to the Sky Immortal Realm, he naturally couldn't be compared to before. Now, his battle strength was many times stronger than before. Then, Lin Feng summoned the stone scriptures. The stone scriptures floated in front of Lin Feng, emitting an ancient and mysterious aura. Lin Feng started to circulate the stone emperor scriptures passed down by the Sky Master bloodline. After that, Lin Feng placed his hands on the stone scriptures. With that, waves of powerful energy surged out of Lin Feng's body. The energy completely poured into the stone scriptures. Many runes actually appeared on the stone scriptures. After seeing those runes, Lin Feng's face revealed a look of joy. But he didn't recognize those runes. However, even if he didn't recognize those runes, it didn't matter. Because Lin Feng could use his own spiritual will to sense the information contained in the runes. Lin Feng's spiritual will intertwined with the stone scriptures. In the next moment, Lin Feng's body suddenly shook. Lin Feng felt as if he had entered a mysterious world. That world, it was shrouded in endless darkness. The inheritance of the torch will never be extinguished. At this moment, a voice came from the darkness. Lin Feng looked towards the voice. He saw it. In the darkness, one figure after another appeared. Their bodies were surrounded by a faint fluorescent light. A total of 37 figures. When he saw those existences, Lin Feng immediately became excited. He knew those existences were the 37 Sky Masters of the Sky Master bloodline. Actually, Lin Feng didn't know much about the 37 ancestors of the Sky Master bloodline. He had only heard of a few of them. What were the rest called? What era did they belong to? Lin Feng didn't know anything. The reason why he didn't know was because there was a gap in the inheritance of the Sky Master bloodline. Not only were many inheritances lost, even the information of the ancient ancestors had been lost. It had to be said. This was a great pity. I will work hard, Lin Feng said. This sentence, he said it to the ancestors of the Sky Master bloodline, and at the same time to himself. Lin Feng knew how terrifying the curse of the Sky Master bloodline was. Lin Feng knew how miserable the fate of the ancestors of the Sky Master bloodline was. It was precisely because he knew this that Lin Feng should work harder. Never give up. The 37 ancestors of the Sky Master bloodline spoke at the same time. I won't give up, Lin Feng said. They nodded together. Then, an endless amount of information was flowing into Lin Feng's brain. Lin Feng couldn't even completely accept that information, so Lin Feng directly fainted. Sogu's website. Chapter 5384. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Feng finally woke up. He felt an incomparable pain in his head, as if it was about to split open. This feeling was truly unbearable. Lin Feng discovered that there seemed to be some additional information in his mind. His divine sense invaded it and discovered that the information contained many inheritances of the celestial master lineage. This made Lin Feng involuntarily reveal a look of joy. Previously, Too much information had entered his mind from the stone scripture, causing him to faint. Therefore, one could imagine how much content this information contained. Many long-lost secret techniques of the celestial master lineage could be found from this information. In addition, Lin Feng carefully probed and discovered that the information also recorded the method to control the stone scripture. One had to know that the stone scripture was an extremely powerful treasure. Its power was simply unimaginable. If he could control the stone scripture, it would be of great help to Lin Feng. In the following period of time, Lin Feng first cultivated the method to control the stone scripture. It was a good thing that Lin Feng's power of understanding was extremely high. After a month, he had already learned a few things. Lin Feng could successfully activate the stone scripture. At the current stage, when Lin Feng activated the stone scripture, many runes would appear on the stone scripture. Each rune seemed to contain the great Tao of heaven and earth. They could release unimaginably terrifying power. These runes made Lin Feng involuntarily feel shocked. And this was only a trick that Lin Feng had just cultivated. As time passed, Lin Feng's control of the stone scripture would definitely continue to increase. The power of the stone scripture. When the time came, it would also continue to increase. One could imagine, how powerful would the stone scripture be in the future? Lin Feng knew that mastery of the stone scripture was not something that could be achieved overnight. It needed time to accumulate. He did not continue to cultivate the method to control the stone scripture. Lin Feng understood the principle of more haste, less speed. Now, Lin Feng planned to enter the fifth palace of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace to see what was at the bottom. The item in the first palace of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace was taken by the three-headed viper. The item in the second level of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace was a blood-stained stone. The fresh blood was the blood of the dismembered corpse in the mysterious iron box. Now, the blood on it had been absorbed by the dismembered corpse. The item in the third layer of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace was the crystal that activated the sacred bone in Lin Feng's body. Now, Lin Feng activated the power of the ruler's armor, the golden dwarf, the magic lotus, the holy bone, and the stone golem clone. Only then would one's battle prowess reach the pinnacle. Therefore, the activation of the sacred ancient had been of great help to Lin Feng. As for the items in the fourth layer of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace, they were pet cultivation fluid and pet aptitude pills. Lin Feng had no use for these items. Bibi and the others could use it, so Lin Feng used it to improve Bibi and the others' talents. Bibi and the others had incomparably heaven-defying talents. Later on, it was cultivated with the pet cultivation fluid and the pet aptitude pill. His talent was even more terrifying. Right now, his cultivation was rising very quickly. The value of the items in the Divine Tao Immortal Palace was still extremely high. Therefore, Lin Feng was extremely interested in the items in the Divine Tao Immortal Palace. Lin Feng entered the Divine Tao Immortal Palace. He arrived outside the fifth layer of the palace. Lin Feng immediately opened the fifth layer of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace. He couldn't wait to enter the fifth layer of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace. Lin Feng discovered. In the fifth layer of the palace, there was actually an ancient bronze scripture. Lin Feng opened the ancient bronze scripture. Then, he looked at the words recorded on the ancient bronze scripture. This was an extremely ancient divine text. But fortunately, Lin Feng had studied divine text before, so he was able to recognize the words on it. The name of the book was Epic 8 Absolutes. 8 Absolutes meant 8 types of weapons. The contents of the book were all absolute arts that were displayed using weapons, including sword techniques, saber techniques, spear techniques, and so on. A total of 8 types. What interested Lin Feng the most was the spear technique recorded on it. This spear technique was called Epic Spear Technique. According to the records in the ancient bronze scripture, these 8 techniques that could only be used with weapons were among the top 8 techniques in the previous era. This made Lin Feng extremely shocked. He didn't expect this to be the inheritance of the previous era and the top inheritance. If everything written on it was true, then the value of these 8 absolute arts was unimaginable. The reason why Lin Feng was most interested in the epic spear technique was because Lin Feng had the most valuable treasure of his family, the epic war spear. The epic war spear had a matching spear technique. If Lin Feng could obtain it, then the power of the epic war spear could be fully unleashed. Unfortunately, so far, Lin Feng hadn't obtained the spear technique to use with the epic of the epoch. However, the name of the epic spear technique recorded on the ancient bronze scripture complemented Lin Feng's epic war spear. But he didn't know. Could the epic spear technique release the power of the epic war spear? Generally speaking, only a matching spear technique could fully unleash the power of the epic war spear. However, Lin Feng felt that even if the epic spear technique didn't match with the epic war spear, it should still be able to unleash part of the power of the epic war spear. Of course, this was just Lin Feng's guess. It was hard to say for sure. It was also possible that the two would repel each other. By then, not only would the power of the epic war spear not be unleashed, but it might also be greatly reduced. Apart from the epic spear technique, Lin Feng was most interested in the epic sword technique. Lin Feng had mastered some sword-type divine abilities. However, if one were to talk about it, the power was just so-so. It wasn't particularly heaven-defying. As for the epic sword technique, it was definitely a heaven-defying sword-type divine ability. Because the epic sword technique was the most powerful sword-type divine ability in the previous era, Lin Feng planned to comprehend the epic spear technique and epic sword technique. He wanted to see how powerful they were. Lin Feng spent 10 days to comprehend the epic spear technique. Then, Lin Feng took out the epic war spear. He held the epic war spear and performed the epic spear technique. Lin Feng wanted to see how powerful it was. Lin Feng was astonished by what happened next. When Lin Feng used the epic war spear to perform the epic spear technique, Lin Feng realized that the epic war spear was vibrating violently. Waves of terrifying power were released from the epic war spear. The epic war spear and the epic spear technique seemed to have formed an extremely close connection. Both of them seemed to have a mutually reinforcing effect. Hence, the power released by the epic war spear shocked Lin Feng. Lin Feng's magic power was continuously absorbed by the epic war spear. Lin Feng even felt that when the epic war spear and the epic spear technique were combined, as long as there was enough magic power to support it, he could pierce a hole in the sky with a single spear. Sogu's website. Chapter 5385. Lin Feng even suspected that this epic spear technique was a matching spear technique with the epic war spear. Otherwise, how could the compatibility be so high? Just thinking about it made one feel incredulous. Perhaps there really was such a possibility? Of course, for now, Lin Feng didn't know if his guess was true. Actually, there was no need to care about this. It didn't matter if it was true or wrong. The key was that Yi Xian could release the power of the epic war spear. Lin Feng quickly cut off the connection with the epic war spear because he felt that if he let the epic war spear continue to absorb the F-Ali in his body, the F-Ali in his body would be completely devoured by the epic war spear. At that time, wouldn't he be sucked dry by the epic war spear? After Lin Feng put away the epic war spear, he began to study the epic sword technique. The epic sword technique was equally powerful. It could complement his stone sword and the 36 bamboo swords. In the following period of time, Lin Feng began to focus on cultivating the epic sword technique. His improvement was godly. After half a year of seclusion, Lin Feng came out. Of course, because 10 days had passed in the time-space, only 1 day had passed in the outside world. Therefore, although Lin Feng had been in seclusion for half a year, only half a month had passed in the outside world. This seclusion was too important for Lin Feng. Lin Feng's realm had completely stabilized, and he could choose to continue breaking through. There were many opportunities in the world where time was reversed. Breaking through here seemed to be extremely easy. Of course, Lin Feng also knew that he had to prepare to break through to the true immortal realm. Therefore, when he reached the sky immortal realm, he had to stabilize his foundation. If his foundation wasn't stable, it would be extremely troublesome. Once he failed to break through to the true immortal realm, it was very likely that he would die. Even if he was lucky enough to survive, there was an 80% chance that he wouldn't be able to enter the true immortal realm. Therefore, breaking through to the true immortal realm had to succeed in one try. No one would give you a second chance. After coming out of seclusion, Lin Feng and Hongyu were naturally like newlyweds. The two of them stuck together. Hongyu had just become a wife. Therefore, It was also the time when they needed Lin Feng the most. Of course, Hong Yu-er was actually very sensible. When Lin Feng was cultivating, she would not disturb Lin Feng. After resting for a few days, Lin Feng and the others discussed for a while. They planned to go with the divine beast to find the owner of the voice that had summoned the divine beast. Lin Feng didn't know who was calling the divine beast over. Lin Feng didn't know exactly where that place was. However, surely they could find the place. Perhaps this was a great opportunity for the divine beasts. Perhaps Lin Feng and the others could also find opportunities there. After making up their minds, Lin Feng and the others decided to have a good meal first before setting off the next day. They came to a place called Weiyang Restaurant to eat. This was one of the top 3 restaurants in Wangyang City. There were all kinds of delicacies. Lin Feng and the others ate as much as they could. And Wan Shitian's true body was a Taodai. One could imagine. When Wan Shitian opened his stomach to eat, the scene was so terrifying. The speed at which he ate was simply too fast. He could swallow all the delicacies on the plate in one bite. The table of delicacies was finished in a short period of time. Then, table after table of delicacies were served. There was no stopping in the middle. Damn. Are the people inside reincarnated from starving ghosts? Some of the diners couldn't help but mutter. It was because the speed at which Lin Feng ate in this private room was too frightening. Finally, Lin Feng and the others ate more than 300 tables worth of delicacies in this private room. This made the boss overjoyed. A table of such customers every day would make him rich. I'm only 10% full. After leaving the restaurant, Wan Shitian said. After hearing Wan Shitian's words, Lin Feng and the others almost fell to the ground, because the food that they ate was not even a tenth of Wan Shitian's. However, when he thought about how Wan Shitian's true body was a Taotai, all of this seemed to be quite normal. Brother Wan, you can eat too much, right? Niu Dashan said. Wan Shitian said, Hee, being able to eat is a blessing. Unfortunately, I've never eaten my fill. Eating 10% full is barely enough. Lin Feng said, eating too much is not good for the body. Eating 10% full is just right. Wan Shitian couldn't help but roll his eyes. Everyone said that eating 60% to 70% full was the best. Running to Lin Feng and saying that eating 10% full was good for the body. Who was he trying to fool? However, it was already late at night, and the restaurant was closed, so he couldn't eat even if he wanted to. If Taodai wanted to eat his fill, he would probably have to eat for a few days and nights. Everyone headed back to their residence. After returning to their residence, they washed up and rested for the night. The next day, Lin Feng and the others set off. The rent was almost due, so they didn't want to pay the rent for the remaining days. Just as they were about to leave the city, they met Zhao Yang and the others. Zhao Yang had suffered a great loss at the hands of Lin Feng last time, and was sent flying by Lin Feng with a kick. At that time, he had really lost all his face. Now that he thought about it, he still felt incomparably angry and aggrieved. He wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Feng immediately. Previously, he had been searching for Lin Feng's whereabouts, but he hadn't been able to find Lin Feng. After all, Lin Feng didn't go out much, and it wasn't easy to find a person in an ancient city. But now that the two sides had met here, it was natural for enemies to be enraged. Zhao Yang had more than 30 people on his side. Under Zhao Yang's lead, a group of people quickly surrounded them. Good, you pair of dogs, I finally found you. Zhao Yang cursed loudly. After seeing the situation here, many people also surrounded them. It was human nature to watch a show. Therefore, seeing that there was a show to watch, everyone naturally gathered around to see what was going on. Zhao Yang, don't go too far. Hong Yu, said angrily. Zhao Yang's eyes were still extremely sharp. He could tell at a glance that Hong Yu was no longer a virgin. She must have been married to Lin Feng. This infuriated Zhao Yang greatly. He looked at Lin Feng and Hong Yu with a venomous gaze, then said coldly, What? You've done something shameful, and you're afraid of others talking about it? Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. Back then, Zhao Yang had even offered Hong Yu, who was his fiancée, to an evil expert as a backer. Fortunately, he hadn't succeeded. Even so, it was clear how much of a scumbag Zhao Yang was. Lin Feng had already been merciful by not taking his life back then. Now, he still dared to jump around in front of Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He raised his right hand, and a sword energy slashed out. Pooh! A tearing sound rang out. Zhao Yang's head had been cut off by Lin Feng. Even in death, Zhao Yang couldn't believe that he had been killed just like that. When the others saw how ferocious Lin Feng was, they all paled and hurriedly retreated. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 5386. Zhao Yang was like a huge boulder that weighed down on Hong Yuer's heart, making it hard for her to breathe. Seeing Zhao Yang killed by Lin Feng, Hong Yuer could finally breathe a sigh of relief. But when she thought about the expert behind Zhao Yang, she couldn't help but worry. But this wasn't the place to talk about it. So, Hong Yuer didn't say anything. After Lin Feng and the others left Wangang City, Hong Yuer said, Zhao Yang has a sage behind him, and it's said that Zhao Yang is very good at winning the favor of that sage, so he's highly regarded by that sage. Now that Zhao Yang has been killed, I'm afraid that sage won't let this matter rest. Lin Feng said, could the sage behind him be that evil path cultivator from before? Back then, Zhao Yang had wanted to offer Hong Yuer to an evil path cultivator so that he could establish a relationship with that evil path cultivator. Hong Yuer had told Lin Feng about this matter, so Lin Feng knew the details. However, because Hong Yuer had escaped in advance, Lin Feng didn't know if Zhao Yang had established a relationship with that evil path cultivator. Hong Yuer smiled bitterly and said, it's indeed that evil path cultivator. I heard that after I escaped, that bastard Zhao Yang seduced a very beautiful female cultivator and offered her to that evil path cultivator. In the end, Zhao Yang succeeded in currying favor with that evil path cultivator. Lin Feng cursed that Zhao Yang really isn't a good person. Letting him die so easily was already letting him off too easily. Lin Feng then asked, what's that evil path cultivator's name? Hong Yuer said, I'm not too sure, but I think he's called something evil saint. Chu Yuan's expression changed slightly, and he said, could it be divine ancestor Tianxie? Yes, it's that divine ancestor Tianxie. With Chu Yuan's reminder, Hong Yuer instantly thought of that person's name. Chu Yuan's expression became extremely grave, and he said, if it's divine ancestor Tianxie, then we're in trouble. What? Is there something wrong with divine ancestor Tianxie? Lin Feng asked. Chu Yuan nodded and smiled wryly. Holy ancestor Tianxie is different from ordinary saints. Ordinary saints don't get involved easily, but that guy is different. He's a vengeful person. He'll definitely get involved personally. Hearing this, Lin Feng only smiled. He was afraid that this guy wouldn't come. If this guy came, he would make sure that he wouldn't be able to return. However, Lin Feng didn't reveal their trump card to Chu Yuan and the others. There were some things that did not need to be said until the time was right. Perhaps this way, he could better see through people's hearts. Lin Feng said, there's no point in worrying about this right now. The world is big, and we might not even run into him. Hearing Lin Feng say this, everyone was relieved. After leaving the city, Lin Feng and the others flew according to the route the divine beast had sensed. The voice in the divine beast's mind would appear and disappear intermittently. It didn't know what was going on. Fortunately, the connection hadn't been broken. At night, because Wan Shutian was by their side, they didn't have to worry about any terrifying creatures coming to cause trouble. Chu Yuan and the others thought that it was the effect of the exorcism crystal. But in reality, that wasn't the case. Although the exorcism crystal was powerful, it wasn't enough to scare away all terrifying creatures. Just like that, Lin Feng and the others went deeper into the city. 10 days later, Lin Feng and the others arrived outside a huge mountain range. This mountain range was surrounded by black fog, and it emitted a gloomy and terrifying aura. After sensing the aura emitted from within the mountain range, Lin Feng's heart couldn't help but tremble slightly. He sensed that this place was extremely dangerous. Lin Feng looked at the divine beast and asked, is this the place? Yes. The divine beast nodded. Lin Feng then looked at Wan Shutian. That guy had been to many places. He just didn't know if he'd been here before. Lin Feng asked, do you know what this place is? Blackwraith Mountains. Of course I've heard of them. Wan Shutian said, this place isn't a good place. Those who have nothing to do with it can just wait outside. Going in is no different from suicide. Lin Feng naturally believed Wan Shitian's words. After all, his cultivation was there for all to see. If even he was so afraid of the Blackwraith Mountains, it was obvious how terrifying they were. This place, it should be an extremely terrifying place. Yixin looked at Hongyu, and the others and said, "You guys wait here. I'll go in with Wan Shitian and the Divine Beast." Hongyu, knew that they wouldn't be of much help. So when she heard Lin Feng's words, she nodded. Lin Feng, Wan Shitian, and the Divine Beast headed into the Blackwraith Mountains. So many corpses. As soon as they entered the Blackwraith Mountains, Lin Feng saw many corpses. Seeing the mountains of corpses, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. There were only so many corpses in the outer regions. The inner regions. How dangerous was this place? Lin Feng looked at Wan Shitian and said, "How much do you know about the Blackwraith Mountains?" Wan Shitian said, "I don't know much about it, but at least I know a thing or two about it. I heard that the Blackwraith Mountains can affect a person's thoughts and cause them to hallucinate. Many people can't extricate themselves from their hallucinations and end up dying here." Lin Feng nodded. "Then let's be careful." He, Wan Shitian, and the Divine Beast entered the Blackwraith Mountains. "Did you sense anything?" Lin Feng asked the Divine Beast. The Divine Beast nodded. "I sense something. That voice wants me to continue walking." And so, the three of them continued walking. As they walked, Lin Feng felt that something was off. The scene in front of him was a bit blurry. And then, he saw a woman appear in front of him, sword in hand. She was charging towards him. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown when he saw the woman. She was none other than Su Yueshi. Hallucinations. Lin Feng frowned. In truth, many people couldn't extricate themselves from the hallucinations even if they knew they were hallucinating. That was because their soul strength wasn't strong enough, so they couldn't wake up. They might even gradually lose themselves in the hallucinations. However, Lin Feng was different. Lin Feng's soul strength was very strong. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he saw nothing but emptiness. Su Yueshi had disappeared. Lin Feng snapped out of the hallucination. However, he discovered that there was a grayish-brown fog around him. The Divine Beast and Wan Shitian were nowhere to be seen. What's going on? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. He felt that something was off, but he couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. Sogu. Chapter 53-87. The situation in front of him was really too strange. But why was it like this? Lin Feng wasn't sure either. Could it be that I'm still in the illusion? I haven't walked out of the illusion? Lin Feng couldn't help but think of a certain possibility. After thinking of this, Lin Feng couldn't help but be slightly shocked. If that was the case, then the illusion here was really too terrifying. He had to break the illusion quickly. Otherwise, the situation would be very dangerous. Who knew if something terrifying was approaching them? Since they were completely in an illusion, they had no way to escape. There was no divine consciousness outside. So, at this time, there was no way to sense the situation outside. If danger came, there was no way to resist those dangers. Therefore, it was extremely important to break the illusion quickly. But how to break the illusion was an extremely difficult problem Lin Feng faced. Lin Feng thought of Lu Ya's star chart. Or could he use Lu Ya's star chart to resolve the crisis in front of him? Lin Feng felt that he could give it a try. Lin Feng sat cross-legged. He began to operate Lu Ya's star chart. As Lu Ya's star chart was operated by Lin Feng, a powerful force surged out. That powerful force wrapped Lin Feng within. Lin Feng felt that the outside world seemed to have undergone some special changes. But as for what the changes were, Lin Feng didn't know for the time being. Lin Feng was still waiting. At a certain moment, Lin Feng felt that a ray of light seemed to have appeared in the darkness. Lin Feng opened his eyes. He realized he was standing in the mountain forest. Beside him stood Wan Shitian and the sacred beast. But now, the two of them were motionless and hadn't woken up. Seeing such a powerful existence like Wan Shitian fall into the illusion, Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. The illusory realm here was truly terrifying. Actually, Lin Feng had some understanding of the illusion. The illusion was powerful in that it could affect one's thoughts and senses. Moreover, His illusions were all-pervasive. If a cultivator was slightly careless, they might be affected by the illusion. At this time, Lin Feng suddenly felt a dangerous aura. Then, he saw the ground open up. Huge black spiders crawled out from the ground. After seeing those black spiders, Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. The aura of those black spiders was too terrifying. Lin Feng's expression couldn't help but become serious. Fortunately, he woke up in time. If he had woken up a little later, he might have become food for those spiders. After the spiders crawled out, they spat out a lot of silk towards Lin Feng and the others. Those threads were actually black threads. In fact, Lin Feng had seen many spider demons. However, no matter what kind of spider demon it was, the silk it spat out was basically white silk. This was the first time he had seen such a black thread. Facing the attack of the spider silk, Lin Feng waved his hand, and the heavenly fire immediately flew out. Then, the heavenly fire burned fiercely. As the heavenly fire burned, the spider silk was immediately burned to ashes. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal a smile. The heavenly fire was indeed powerful, able to restrain the silk spat out by these spiders. If the heavenly fire couldn't restrain the silk spat out by these spiders, then the three of them would be miserable. Wake up! Lin Feng couldn't help but shout, wanting to wake up Wan Shitian and the sacred beast. But they didn't move at all. There was no sign of waking up. Seeing this situation, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. How could this illusion be so strange? Outsiders couldn't even wake up people who were trapped in the illusion. Of course, this was not the time to think about these things, because the spider demons attacked again. The spider demons quickly rushed towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng took out the 36 bamboo swords. 36 bamboo swords quickly flew towards the spider spirits that were pouncing towards them. The spider demons waved their huge claws and swept towards Lin Feng's bamboo swords. Some of the bamboo swords were swept away by the spider demons. Some of the bamboo swords were not swept away. The bamboo swords that weren't swept away instantly pierced through the spider demons' bodies. Their corpses fell to the ground. The spider demons that swept away the bamboo swords once again rushed towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng also took out the epic war spear. He held the epic war spear in his hand. One after another, the spear lights were pierced through by Lin Feng. Puff, puff, puff. Accompanied by the sound of tearing, the spear lights displayed great power and instantly shot a bloody hole in the spider demons' bodies. Soon, a group of spider demons were all killed by Lin Feng. Seeing that all the spider demons were dead, Lin Feng was finally able to breathe a sigh of relief. He came in front of the sacred beast, then stretched out his hand and gently tapped the sacred beast's forehead. Powerful magic power surged into the sacred beast's forehead. Lin Feng felt that there must be a strange power that entered their minds to cause them to fall into an illusion. Since he couldn't wake them up directly, then, perhaps he could try to expel the strange power from his body. As a result, perhaps he would be able to awaken the sacred beast. Ah, what happened to me just now? The sacred beast opened its eyes. Seeing that the sacred beast had woken up, Lin Feng was very happy. It seemed that his method was really feasible. Lin Feng said, "You were in an illusion just now. Fortunately, you've woken up now." Lin Feng did the same. He also woke Wan Shitian up. Wan Shitian's face was gloomy. He said, "This place is really strange. The illusion is everywhere." "Yes." Lin Feng nodded and said, "But now we don't have to worry about the illusion. I don't believe that the illusion here can affect us twice. I want to see what other dangers there are." Wan Shitian kicked the corpse of a spider demon away. He didn't need to ask Lin Feng what had happened. Seeing the bodies of the spider demons, he could basically guess what had happened when they fell into the illusion. In fact, Wan Shitian and the sacred beast were different from Lin Feng. Their souls were weaker than the souls of humans. In addition, they didn't cultivate a heaven-defying soul-type divine ability like Lu Yu's stargazing chart. Breaking through the illusion was naturally as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Fortunately, Lin Feng had broken through the illusion in advance. Otherwise, they might have died here. The three of them continued to go deeper. What surprised Lin Feng and the others was that they didn't encounter any danger along the way. Instead, they smoothly reached the depths. In the depths, there was a sinister and terrifying black hole. From time to time, the black hole would spit out clouds of black fog. Chapter 5388. The black hole was deep. It emitted a sinister and terrifying aura. Lin Feng could not help but frown when he sensed the aura within the black hole. This place was obviously very dangerous. This was an extremely strong intuition, and Lin Feng had always trusted his intuition. Lin Feng naturally did not know what kind of danger there was. Lin Feng looked at the divine beast and said, "Later, you will transform into your true form and release the holy light. Perhaps it will be able to dispel the evil and darkness." "No problem." The divine beast nodded. The three of them entered the black hole. The sinister and terrifying energy seeped into their bodies. This energy was almost unstoppable. Moreover, this incomparably strange energy seemed to be able to gradually stiffen a person's body. Then, they lost control of their bodies. Lin Feng did not know what kind of energy this was, but Lin Feng knew that this energy was too terrifying. He had to treat it with caution. Otherwise, he would probably suffer a calamity. The divine beast transformed into its true form. Holy light surged out of the divine beast's body. The darkness was dispelled. The strange and evil energy was also dispelled. Lin Feng and the others returned to normal. This feeling, it was really quite comfortable. The holy light emitted from the divine beast's body enveloped Lin Feng and Wan Shitian, and then they walked into the depths of the black hole. The walls of the black hole were black, and upon closer inspection, there seemed to be some mysterious runes. Lin Feng had been observing those talismans the whole time. He realized that they were still there even after walking for a long time. The runes were linked together, forming a rune chain. These runes, they were very ancient. They definitely had a very long history. These runes seemed to be sealing this place. Lin Feng said. Wan Shitian said, "Sealing this place? Could it be a sealing rune?" Lin Feng said, "It should be." After a pause, Lin Feng continued, "Could it be that something is being suppressed here?" Wan Shitian could not help but become hesitant. If there was really something being suppressed here, what did it mean? What if the existence being suppressed here was friendly to them? Or was it filled with hostility? If it was the former, it would be fine. If it was the latter, something terrible might happen. Entering will definitely be very dangerous, but there is also a possibility of obtaining benefits. The probability is 50% against 50%. Lin Feng said. Wan Shitian said, "Wealth comes from danger." Lin Feng nodded. He thought the same. If he wanted to quickly raise his cultivation, he would not take any risks. How was that possible? There was no such thing as a free lunch. There was no need to even mention the divine beast. The voice was still calling out to it. So, no matter what, the divine beast had to enter. Lin Feng activated the ruler's armor. Then, he draped the kasaya over his body. One couldn't blame Lin Feng for being so cautious. There might really be some terrifying dangers inside. Of course, if there was no danger, it would be even better. Then, there would be no need to be so worried. They continued to walk inside. After walking for about a quarter of an hour, finally, Lin Feng and the others saw a huge mountain belly. There was actually holy light surging in the mountain belly. That holy light seemed to be of the same origin as the holy light emitted from the divine beast's body. Lin Feng revealed a surprised expression. Could it be that there was a divine beast inside? Damn, could there be a divine beast suppressed in the depths? Wan Shitian could not help but exclaim. The divine beast became somewhat intertwined, because there might be a fellow divine beast suppressed inside. He naturally could not wait to see the specific situation inside. Very soon, Lin Feng, the divine beast, and Wan Shitian arrived at the depths of the mountain belly. When they arrived here, they saw a divine beast lying in the middle of the mountain belly. The divine beast's body was much larger than the divine beast beside Lin Feng. However, the divine beast was already dead. A terrifying existence lingering in the darkness was lying on top of the divine beast's body. It was devouring the divine beast's blood. Sacred beasts were even more sacred creatures than unicorns. The blood of a divine beast had many miraculous effects. It was said that it could even wash away the evil in some dark creatures. It could make them incomparably powerful. The divine beast roared angrily. It wanted to rush up and attack the existence lingering in the darkness. However, Lin Feng pulled it back. Something's wrong. Wait and see, Lin Feng said in a low voice. The divine beast looked at Lin Feng, puzzled. It did not know what Lin Feng meant by something was wrong. At this time, Lin Feng shot out a ray of Buddhist light. The Buddhist light quickly flew towards the terrifying existence lingering in the darkness. When the Buddha's light touched that area, the Buddha's light suddenly appeared. Suddenly. Then, a strange scene appeared. The dead divine beast disappeared. The terrifying existence lingering in the darkness also disappeared. In that place, only a skeleton remained. The skeleton. It should be the skeleton left behind by the divine beast. Was that an illusion? Wan Shirtian's expression became incomparably solemn. Everything was too strange. True and false. Sometimes it was hard to tell. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Let's go check it out now." Lin Feng and the others walked towards the skeleton. At this time, the black fog rolled. The rolling black fog instantly sealed the exit. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng and the others' expressions could not help but change. A divine beast. Another divine beast has come. This is really great. Excited voices resounded in the belly of the mountain. Then, from the rolling black fog, a terrifying existence walked out. That existence lingered in the darkness. Lin Feng recognized it. The terrifying existence they saw before was this guy in front of them. It was this guy in front of them that had swallowed the divine beast. All the flesh and blood had been eaten by this guy, leaving only the skeleton. "What are you?" Lin Feng asked in a deep voice. "I am the gastronomic demon king," the terrifying existence said in a sinister voice. "Gastronomic demon king? What the hell is that?" Lin Feng could not help but mutter. He really had never heard of the gastronomic demon king. Wan Shirtian and the divine beast obviously had not heard of the gastronomic demon king's name. After the gastronomic demon king heard Lin Feng's mutter, the corner of his mouth twitched slightly, and his eyes became extremely cold. Chapter 53-89. The culinary god king said coldly, "You've never heard of my great name?" Lin Feng was speechless. The culinary god king really thought highly of himself. "Who the hell are you? Why should we have heard of you?" Lin Feng said, "I've never heard of you. Are you very famous?" The culinary god king felt the urge to slap Lin Feng to death when he saw the expression on Lin Feng's face. The culinary god king said, "I am the king of the demon abyss, the grim reaper who walks the world." When Lin Feng heard the abyss of demons, he couldn't help but frown. Lin Feng had indeed never heard of the culinary god king, but Lin Feng knew of the demon abyss. The demon abyss was an incomparably terrifying place, and Lin Feng had no idea where it was exactly. However, Lin Feng knew that the demon abyss was home to many terrifying creatures from the demon race. Back at the endless ghost sands, Lin Feng had once encountered a terrifying existence from the demon abyss. Lin Feng recalled that the fellow was called Subaru. Subaru had once summoned the demon abyss and tried to use it to devour Lin Feng. However, Subaru had failed. Lin Feng had never expected to encounter a creature from the demon abyss again after so many years. However, the culinary god king before him was much stronger than Subaru. At this time, the divine beast looked at the culinary god king with a ferocious gaze. He asked, "Are you the one who killed the senior of our divine beast race?" The culinary god king said sinisterly, "Yes. This fellow is very easy to trick. I easily tricked him into coming here. I don't know if I should call him naive or stupid, but after eating his flesh, I feel like I'm about to break the seal. However, I'm still a little lacking. I really didn't expect another divine beast to come here after so many years. If I kill you, as long as I eat you, at that time, I'll be able to escape. I'll kill you to avenge the senior of my race," the divine beast said with a look of hatred. Sacred beasts were a very rare race, so there were very few of them. Even at their peak, there were only a dozen or so sacred beasts in their race. Although the number of sacred beasts was small, they were very united. seeing the senior of the holy beast race die a tragic death. The sacred beast was naturally incomparably angry. Its heart was now filled with hatred. However, Lin Feng discovered something strange. From the culinary god king's words, one could infer something extremely important. That was the reason why the divine beast had come here. Actually, it had nothing to do with God-eating demon king. At first, Lin Feng thought that it was the God-eating demon king that had attracted the divine beast. Now, it seemed that this was not the case. Even if it wasn't the God-eating demon king who attracted the divine beast, it would still be the divine beast. Then who was it that attracted the divine beast? Lin Feng looked at the skeleton. Could it be that skeleton? Thinking of this, Lin Feng was shocked. If that was the case, perhaps that skeleton would be of some use later. At this time, the God-eating demon king looked at Lin Feng and Wan Shitian and said, "There's nothing for you to do here. If you leave now, I won't make things difficult for you." "Hee, you want us to leave? You must be dreaming." Lin Feng laughed coldly. "If that's the case, then you must all die," the God-eating demon king said eerily. The black fog rolled, and then 3 terrifying claws appeared in the black fog. The 3 devil claws. They grabbed towards Lin Feng, the divine beast, and Wan Shitian. Break. Lin Feng held the epic war spear and swept it towards the claws. Lin Feng's epic war spear combined with the epic spear technique was extremely powerful and directly broke the devil claws. Then, Lin Feng held the epic war spear and quickly attacked the God-eating demon king. A large amount of holy light surged out of the divine beast's body, and the holy light directly attacked the devil claws. Bang! Following the violent collision, there was a loud sound. The holy light surged out of the divine beast's body and collided with the devil claws. The devil claws were directly shattered. It seemed that the divine beast could restrain the God-eating demon king. Thinking about it, it made sense. The divine beast represented the purest of powers. However, the God-eating demon king represented evil and was restrained by the divine beast. On the other side, Wan Shitian's right hand turned into the Taoye's claw. Then, a claw slammed towards the devil claws that were grabbing towards him. The Taoye's strength was the strongest among the 3 of them. So, the Taoye also successfully destroyed the devil claws. Lin Feng, the divine beast, and the Taoye instantly charged towards the God-eating demon king. They wanted to surround and kill the God-eating demon king. However, at this moment, something unexpected happened. There was a clattering sound. In the black fog, suddenly, 3 chains flew out. The 3 chains were as black as ink. 3 chains. Shaking the void, they swept towards Lin Feng, the divine beast, and Wan Shitian. The 3 chains were surrounded by countless black runes. The black runes were filled with strange energy. After sensing the strange energy, Lin Feng could not help but feel a little terrified. The 3 chains were definitely very powerful. They should be extremely strange weapons. Lin Feng waved his battle spear and swept towards the chain that was whipping towards him. Clang! The epic war spear in Lin Feng's hand collided with the chain. Suddenly, an earth-shattering force surged. Lin Feng was directly sent flying by the force. The divine beast was sent flying by the chain that was whipping towards him. Wan Shitian was also sent flying. The God-eating demon king's realm was too high. After being suppressed for so many years, the God-eating demon king's strength had actually decreased significantly compared to his peak. Even so, the God-eating demon king was still extremely powerful. He was at least a saint powerhouse. Lin Feng really felt like crying now. It was almost impossible to see a saint powerhouse in the outside world. However, in this world where time had reversed, there were actually so many saints. It was really depressing. Go to hell. The God-eating demon king's main target was the divine beast. Therefore, he did not care about Lin Feng and Wan Shitian who were knocked back. Instead, he quickly rushed towards the divine beast. How terrifying was the God-eating demon king! If he killed his way to the divine beast would definitely die. Lin Feng and Wan Shitian did not have time to save the divine beast at this time. At this critical moment, Lin Feng shouted in a deep voice, "Quickly try to communicate with the skeleton and see if you can activate it." End of chapter. Chapter 5390. After hearing Lin Feng's reminder, the divine beast did not dare to hesitate. It hurriedly tried to communicate with the skeleton. The divine beast first tried to communicate with the skeleton using its divine sense, but to no avail. The divine beast then changed its method. Its new method was to circulate its bloodline and hope that the skeleton could sense its bloodline aura. Needless to say, this method actually worked. When the divine beast's bloodline began to circulate, as soon as the divine beast's bloodline was activated, the skeleton could not help but emit violent waves of energy. Then, the skeleton disappeared from the spot. When the skeleton reappeared, it was already in front of the divine beast. The skeleton raised its claws and slapped at the God-eating Demon King. The God-eating Demon King's expression changed slightly. Clearly, this was not something he had expected. However, the God-eating Demon King sneered. He had enough confidence in himself. Moreover, it was just a skeleton. How could it threaten him? The God-eating Demon King unleashed an attack without any fear. Bang! Following a violent collision, the God-eating Demon King's claws collided with the skeleton's claws. The skeleton was sent flying. Even the divine beast behind it was sent flying. Damn! Isn't the God-eating Demon King too awesome? Seeing this scene, Lin Feng's expression could not help but turn ugly. He was still hoping that the skeleton would be able to kill the God-eating Demon King. Even if it could not kill the God-eating Demon King, it could at least stall him. But now, it seemed that his previous thoughts were too whimsical. Ha 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 ha, lowly fellow, do you know how powerful this seat is now? You are too weak in front of this seat. You are as weak as an ant. The God-eating Demon King could not help but laugh. His eyes were filled with contempt. This guy was indeed powerful. It was no wonder he was so arrogant. Anyone who possessed such terrifying battle prowess would feel that they were invincible. Sacred Bone Fusion. The skeleton looked at the divine beast and said, Sacred Bone Fusion. The divine beast said. As soon as they finished speaking, Yi Zichen's expression changed. Every bone on the skeleton emitted sacred light. The holy beast's body also emitted holy light. The holy light emitted from their bodies quickly fused together. Afterward, the skeleton disappeared. Only the divine beast was left. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. If he was not mistaken, the skeleton must have merged with the divine beast's body. The divine beast swiped its claw at the God-eating Demon King. Bang! When the two sides collided, the entire cave shook violently. If it weren't for the dense runes in the cave, Lin Feng thought, the cave had long been destroyed. The sacred beast that had fused with the skeleton was locked in battle with the God-eating Demon King. Let's go and help him kill the God-eating Demon King, Lin Feng said in a deep voice. There was no way he could defeat the culinary god king with just the divine beasts. This point, Lin Feng knew this very well. Therefore, if he wanted to defeat or even kill the culinary god Demon King, he would need to throw in more reinforcements. Lin Feng and Wan Shutian were the reinforcements. Wan Shutian naturally had no objections. He transformed into the true form of Tao Tai. That way, his battle strength would reach the peak. Tao Ye's claws were surrounded by endless demonic light. He leapt out. Then, he swiped his huge claws at the God-eating Demon King. Tao Tai, this fellow, was extremely crazy. When he fought, he had a domineering aura. Lin Feng no longer held back. The power of the Golden Dwarf, the Magic Lotus, the Ruler's Armor, the Divine Bone, and the Golem Clone had completely merged into Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng's battle strength began to soar. Lin Feng wielded the Epic War Spear and used the Epic Spear technique. He stabbed with all his strength. When the divine beast saw Lin Feng and Tao Tai attack, he also erupted with his strongest battle strength, trying to distract the God-eating Demon King. 3 heads, 6 arms. The God-eating Demon King laughed coldly. Suddenly, his body changed. In just an instant, he went from having 1 head and 2 arms to having 3 heads and 6 arms. With 3 heads and 6 arms, the God-eating Demon King's battle strength increased greatly. He used 2 hands to deal with the divine beast. 2 hands condensed divine abilities and attacked Tao Tai. The other 2 hands condensed divine abilities and attacked Lin Feng. At the same time, 6 terrifying beams of light shot out from each of his 6 eyes. Each beam of light seemed to contain enough power to destroy heaven and earth. Not good. This guy is too savage. Lin Feng's expression changed. He had no choice but to go on the defensive. Lin Feng waved the epic war spear and swept it towards the incoming attacks. Clang, 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 clang. A series of clanging sounds could be heard. Both the eye attacks and the divine abilities were blocked by Lin Feng. But at that moment, the black chain flew out of the black fog again. Then, the black chain ruthlessly attacked Lin Feng. Such power was truly terrifying to the extreme. Bang! With a violent clang, Lin Feng was swept away by the black chain again. At the same time, Tao Dai and the divine beast were also sent flying. Too weak. Too weak. If this is all you have, you will die today. The God-eating demon king sneered. This guy was extremely arrogant. He looked at Lin Feng and the others with disdain. The chains once again swept towards Lin Feng's group. Lin Feng used all his strength to activate the epic war spear to block the chains. It was difficult for him to block the chain's attack. The divine beast's battle strength had increased greatly after fusing with the skeleton, but it still had a hard time against those strange chains. Although it could block the black chain's attack, it couldn't counterattack. The Taoye situation was the same. It could only block the black chain's attack, but it couldn't counterattack. At that moment, Lin Feng was pleasantly surprised. Behind the God-eating demon king, the demon lord silently appeared. The demon lord opened its big hand, and endless demonic energy spread out. The demonic energy directly enveloped the God-eating demon king. The God-eating demon king's attention was focused on Lin Feng's group when he was fighting with Lin Feng's group. In addition, the demon lord's concealment technique was very special. Therefore, he didn't notice the demon lord suddenly appearing behind him. It was only after the demon lord used its divine ability that the God-eating demon king noticed the demon lord behind him. It was too late to dodge now. The demonic energy condensed by the demon lord was very strange. It was like an airtight net that enveloped the God-eating demon king. The God culinary demon king began to struggle violently, causing the demonic chi to shatter. Given enough time, the God-eating demon king should be able to break through the demon lord's divine ability. However, Lin Feng didn't give the God-eating demon king that time. Lin Feng quickly arrived in front of the God-eating demon king. He stabbed the epic war spear at the God-eating demon king. A poochie sound was heard. Lin Feng's epic war spear instantly pierced through the God-eating demon king's chest. End of chapter. Chapter 5391. The God-eating demon king looked at the epic war spear that had pierced through his chest. His face was filled with disbelief. He had actually suffered such a serious injury. It was hard for him to accept. The God-eating demon king's eyes seemed to be spitting fire. Boundless killing intent. It surged out from his heart. The God-eating demon king's body began to burn. The demonic chi that enveloped the God-eating demon king began to thin rapidly. I'm immortal and indestructible. Nobody can kill me. You all deserve to die. The God-eating demon king roared. The furious God-eating demon king began to fight with all his might. Shit, he's still not dead? Lin Feng looked at the God-eating demon king speechlessly. He had originally thought that the God-eating demon king would die. After all, his heart had been pierced. But this guy was still living so carefreely. Lin Feng was speechless. Seal him quickly, Yao Jun shouted in a deep voice. Lin Feng nodded. He didn't dare hesitate. He quickly used the 8 seals to deal with the God-eating demon king. Lin Feng had to hurry up and seal the God-eating demon king. This guy was struggling too hard. If he managed to break free, it would be a disaster for Lin Feng and the others. Lin Feng was naturally very clear about this. Following Lin Feng's movements, one seal after another was condensed by Lin Feng. The incantations condensed into countless sealing runes. Those sealing runes were all branded on the culinary god king's body. Runes after runes sealed the culinary god king's body. The god-eating demon king continued to struggle. However, he discovered that his struggles were becoming more and more useless. After all, Lin Feng's 8 godly sealing seals were extraordinary. Moreover, ever since Lin Feng had obtained the stone scripture, A special connection had been formed between him and the stone scripture. Perhaps it was because of the stone scripture's support. The various powerful techniques passed down by the sage's bloodline were becoming more and more powerful in Lin Feng's hands. For example, the 8 divine seals were like this. The god culinary demon king's expression turned extremely unsightly. He roared furiously, "Let me go! All of you attacked me from all sides and ambushed me. You have an unfair advantage. Who will remember the losers? Everyone will only remember the winners." Lin Feng sneered. At this time, he still had the face to say such words. It really made Lin Feng quite speechless. God-forbidding 8 seals completely sealed God Culinary Demon King. So what if you sealed me? You can't kill me. No one can kill me. Ha 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 ha. The Culinary God Demon King laughed wildly. This guy was really confident. The Demon Lord looked indifferent as he said, "In this world, there is no such thing as an immortal, and that includes you." After saying that, the Demon Lord slapped Culinary God Demon King's back. Next, a large amount of Human Emperor's power gushed out of the Demon Lord's body. The Human Emperor's power poured into God Culinary Demon King's body, causing him to roar in pain. Human Emperor's power? You're just a monster. How can you cultivate Human Emperor's power? The God Culinary Demon King finally showed a terrified expression. Lin Feng's heart shook slightly. It seemed that the God Culinary Demon King was more afraid of Human Emperor's power. Human Emperor could enlighten the masses. This was a very special power. It was said that only sage emperors of the human race could cultivate Human Emperor's power. The reason why sage emperors of the human race were so strong, it had something to do with the power they possessed. Perhaps this was the fundamental reason why sage emperors of the human race were much more powerful than cultivators of the same realm. The Demon Lord ignored God Culinary Demon King. He continued to pour Human Emperor's power into God Culinary Demon King's body. Crack, crack, crack. Cracking sounds could be heard coming from God Culinary Demon King's body. When they heard the cracking sounds, Lin Feng and the others were overjoyed. It seemed that God Culinary Demon King couldn't hold on any longer. For Lin Feng and the others, this was naturally something to be happy about. God Culinary Demon King was so terrifying. Everything else aside, as long as they could refine his origin energy, they would be able to greatly increase their cultivation. No, don't kill me. I don't want to die. Spare me. God Culinary Demon King cried out in fear. Everyone was afraid of death. God Culinary Demon King was no exception. Previously, he had a fearless expression on his face. This was because the God Chef Demon King was extremely confident in his own abilities. He believed that no one could kill him. However, now, God Culinary Demon King realized that the Demon Lord had the ability to kill him. Naturally, he was afraid. He turned into a coward in a second. "This was the God Culinary Demon King," said Lin Feng mockingly. "Don't waste your time. No one can save you. Do you know who's behind me? If you dare to kill me, the expert behind me won't let you off." God Culinary Demon King threatened. Lin Feng was astonished. Someone as terrifying as God Culinary Demon King actually had an expert behind him? This wasn't good news at all. If that was the case, they would have to be cautious. However, it was impossible for them to let God Culinary Demon King go. After all, they had already formed an enmity with him. If they let him go, wouldn't that be the same as letting a tiger return to the mountains? Naturally, Lin Feng and the others couldn't possibly do such a thing. God Culinary Demon King could tell that Lin Feng and the others weren't going to let him off. He said coldly, "The expert behind me is..." Lin Feng didn't give God Culinary Demon King the chance to finish his sentence. He immediately sealed his mouth. Some words were better left unsaid. Otherwise, it would affect Lin Feng and the others' Dao hearts. Bang! God Culinary Demon King's body soon exploded. God Culinary Demon King had died. However, there were still some things left behind. For example, origin energy. For example, a storage ring. Divide the origin energy into 4. Lin Feng said. Then, he divided the origin energy into 4 parts, one for each of them. The Demon Lord grabbed the storage ring and sensed it. Then, the Demon Lord took out an item. That item was shrouded in a black radiance. Lin Feng couldn't clearly see what it was. The demon lord had already put it away. Lin Feng guessed that the item should be extremely important to the demon lord. After obtaining the item, the demon lord didn't stay outside. He directly returned to the demonic bead. As for Lin Feng, he grabbed the storage ring and sent his divine sense into it. Lin Feng wanted to see what treasures an expert like God Culinary Demon King had left behind. Chapter 5392. The space inside the storage ring was very large. What surprised Lin Feng was that there were no immortal stones or heaven and earth treasures inside the storage ring. Thinking about it carefully, Lin Feng knew what was going on. Because, after being trapped in this place for so long, Culinary God Demon King naturally needed a vast amount of energy to maintain his body's needs. So, the immortal stones and heaven and earth treasures inside the storage ring were probably all refined by Culinary God Demon King. However, there were all kinds of materials, such as immortal iron and divine stone. Other than that, there were also some things, such as 6 mysterious and strange chains. This was the magic treasure that Culinary God Demon King had taken out earlier. Its power was extremely terrifying, and he did not know what kind of magic treasure it was. There were many magic treasures at the level of Culinary God Demon King, and all kinds of immortal equipment added up to over 100. However, an expert of his level probably wouldn't need these immortal equipment, but Lin Feng could. Immortal equipment were precious, mainly because the materials used to forge them were not easy to find. These immortal equipment could be brought back to form an elite team. Other than these immortal equipment, there were 2 holy ranked magic treasures. One was a meteor hammer type magic treasure, and the other was a treasure sword. The treasure sword was called Tianhua sword. Its entire body was pitch black and emitted a sinister and terrifying aura. It was definitely a top-grade treasure that could not be underestimated. Other than that, there were also many immortal iron and divine stone. When he returned, he could let the Sin Realm's refiner refine a batch of magic treasure. Because Lin Feng felt that the Undying Realm was currently surging with undercurrents. It seemed calm, but who knew when a great war would break out? Once a great war broke out, the people would definitely be in a terrible situation. And the Sin Realm would definitely suffer an extremely strong impact. The Heavenly Emperor. He would not allow the Sin Realm to continue to exist. What is that? Suddenly, Lin Feng saw something in the storage ring. He took out the item. Lin Feng realized. That thing seemed to be a broken piece of jade. There was even some blood stains on it. How long has it been? Where is the monarch? I look forward to your return, and we will not be separated until we grow old. Suddenly, a voice resounded in Lin Feng's mind. When he heard the voice, Lin Feng's face revealed a shocked expression. His gaze. He then looked at the broken jade in his hand. Was it because of this broken piece of jade that the voice just now appeared in his mind? It was a woman's voice. Did this broken ring belong to that woman? Who was that woman? Everything was a mystery. I'd better not cause any trouble. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He threw the broken jade on the ground. However, the broken jade flew back into Lin Feng's hand. What the hell? Why is it so strange? Wan Shitian asked curiously. Lin Feng replied, It's good stuff. Why don't you keep it? Wan Shitian rolled his eyes and said, You're really lying through your teeth. This jade is full of strange things, and it's already pestering you. So, you'd better keep it well. Lin Feng suddenly felt like crying. Why is it pestering me? Lin Feng sighed. He had no choice but to put the broken jade away. As for the voice that came from the broken jade, he'd just pretend he didn't hear it. There were still some strange things in the storage ring, but they weren't very attractive to Lin Feng. Then, Lin Feng handed the storage ring to Wan Shitian, letting him see if there was anything he liked. Wan Shitian took a fancy to the Tianhua sword. The Tianhua sword was very powerful, just right for Wan Shitian. As for the other things, Wan Shitian wasn't very interested, so he didn't take them. The divine beast took the other sacred artifact, the meteor hammer. Without a sacred artifact to protect himself, his safety couldn't be guaranteed. The divine beast quite liked the meteor hammer. As for the other things, they all belonged to Lin Feng. The 6 chains were very powerful, and the key was that they were indestructible. Even Lin Feng's epic war spear couldn't destroy them. From this, one could see how amazing the materials used to forge them were. So, Lin Feng decided to study the 6 chains carefully. At this moment, the skeleton flew out of the divine beast's body. Senior. Looking at the skeleton, the divine beast's eyes became moist. Don't be sad. Everyone has their own destiny, the skeleton said. But even so, everyone had feelings. In particular, the divine beast clan had very few members. As long as a divine beast appeared, their bloodline was basically of the same origin. Just like the sovereign bloodline, there were very few of them. So, anyone with the sovereign bloodline was basically Lin Feng's ancestor. The skeleton in front of him was definitely an ancestor of the divine beast when he was alive. Seeing his ancestor die so miserably, how could the divine beast not be sad? But the divine beast had to pretend to be very strong. The divine beast said, "Senior, can you still be resurrected?" "How can a dead person be resurrected?" the skeleton said. Then, it continued, "Cultivate well. You must survive." "I will," the divine beast said firmly. The skeleton continued, "My remnant soul is about to dissipate, but my remnant body is still useful. My remnant soul will turn into runes and fuse into your body. If you encounter danger, you can try to fuse with my remnant soul. It should be able to provide you with some help." As soon as he finished speaking, the skeleton turned into a rune. Then, it flew into the divine beast's body. "I will definitely become very powerful. In the future, no one will be able to bully our clan. In the future, I will definitely protect our clan well," the divine beast said solemnly. Lin Feng patted the divine beast. In fact, Lin Feng understood the divine beast's feelings very well. The death of a loved one was a great blow to anyone, especially those races with very few clansmen. There were already very few people, and if a few more died, the sadness in their hearts would be indescribable. This was not a place to stay for long, so Lin Feng and the others did not continue to stay here. Lin Feng and the others quickly left. However, when Lin Feng and the others just came out of the cave, the sky suddenly became extremely dark. The surrounding light was devoured in a short period of time. In the darkness, suddenly, a ball of light appeared. In that ball of light, a shadow could be vaguely seen. Not good. A terrifying existence has appeared. When they saw that shadow, the expressions of Lin Feng and the others changed greatly. Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of reading website. Chapter 53:93. No one knew where this mysterious figure had come from, but he was definitely terrifying. This was the Blackwraith Mountains, an incomparably dangerous place. They naturally had to be extremely careful here. Otherwise, they might very well die here. Lin Feng and the others had encountered danger when they first entered. However, the danger back then couldn't be compared to what they were facing now. Lin Feng and the others stared at the figure as if they were facing a great enemy. "You've entered the Blackwraith Mountains and killed the culinary god king, who was suppressed there. You're quite capable." The silhouette stopped and said. His voice sounded hoarse. He sounded like a middle-aged man in his 40s. It was impossible to see what he looked like. Therefore, Lin Feng and the others couldn't tell what kind of existence he was. "Who are you?" Wan Shitian asked in a low voice. "You've come to my territory, yet you still don't know who I am?" the figure asked. Hearing this, Lin Feng and the others' expressions changed slightly. This figure actually dared to say that the Blackwraith Mountains were his territory. If he wasn't lying, then he should be like the ruler of those places. This was going to be troublesome. Lin Feng licked his cracked lips and said, "I'm sorry, but we'll leave now. We won't disturb you again." The figure looked at Lin Feng mockingly. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile bitterly when he sensed the figure's gaze. He really wanted to leave right now, but the figure obviously wouldn't let him go. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't move. The figure said, "You can leave if you want, but you'll have to fulfill one of my requests." "What requests?" Lin Feng asked. "Only one of the 3 of you can leave alive." The figure said. "Fuck." Lin Feng couldn't help but curse. The figure was truly immoral. The underlying meaning of his words was easy to understand. He wanted them to kill each other. It was so evil that it oozed pus. Lin Feng and the others had extremely gloomy expressions. Killing each other was something they couldn't do. What? Are you unwilling? This is your only chance to survive. The black figure said eerily. He paused for a moment. He continued, you can think about it carefully. Was it easy for you to cultivate to your current level? How much have you suffered? Do you have any unfinished business that needs to be done? Do you still have people to protect? You should think about your loved ones, and parents. If you die, what will happen to them? There's only one way to survive, and that's to kill the other two. He had to admit that the Black Shadow was really good at bewitching people. His words touched the softest spot in everyone's heart. Therefore, many people would not be able to control the idea of killing their companions after hearing these words. Said the black silhouette to Lin Feng and the holy beast. You know that the Taodai is an evil beast. You can't get close to him. I'm sure that he's thinking about how to kill you in order to survive. Among the three of you, the Taodai is the strongest, so I suggest that you two join hands and kill him first. Otherwise, he'll kill you. After you kill him, you can fight against him. That way, you'll have a better chance of surviving, otherwise you'll die, said the black silhouette to Lin Feng and the holy beast. Tao Ye's eyes were gloomy. He kept his head down and his eyes flickered. It was unknown if the black shadow had guessed his thoughts. Lin Feng sneered and said, F***ck off. Don't try to sow discord here. Taodai is our partner, so we naturally trust him unconditionally. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Taodai suddenly raised his head and looked at Lin Feng in disbelief. He originally thought Lin Feng wouldn't trust him. After all, how long had he known Lin Feng? Moreover, before, he had chased after Lin Feng twice. Lin Feng didn't trust him. Wasn't this a very normal thing? In fact, Taodai was very happy to be with Lin Feng and others during this time. In the past, Taodai had always been alone, even if Taodai wanted to get close to others. But seeing such a terrifying existence like Taodai, anyone would be scared half to death. Then, no matter what kind of creature it was, they would find a way to kill Taodai, because they felt that Taodai wanted to hunt them down. So, Taodai didn't have any friends. He had always been alone. Until he became friends with Lin Feng, Taodai experienced a different life. But when faced with the choice of life and death, Taodai knew that no one would believe him. Because, just as the Black Shadow had said, he was indeed an evil beast. Who would believe an evil beast? But Lin Feng believed it. Taodai didn't know what to say. He felt. His heart was warm. His eyes seemed to be a little moist. The feeling of being believed. Great. At this moment, hearing Lin Feng curse him, the Black Shadow's eyes suddenly became murderous. The Black Shadow looked at Taodai and said, Taodai, you are the strongest among the three. Go and kill them now. Kill them. You will be free. Get lost, you motherfucker. Taodai also cursed at the Black Shadow. After scolding the Black Shadow, it was really cool. This bastard really deserved to be scolded. Get lost, you motherfucker. The sacred beast also cursed loudly. Anyway, they didn't know if they could escape. In that case, they naturally didn't have to be afraid of the Black Shadow. Courting death. Courting death. I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Then, all of you can go to hell. The Black Shadow's resentful voice came out. Then, in the void, the black fog rolled violently. As the black fog rolled, in the black fog, a pair of evil eyes suddenly appeared. Those evil eyes looked at Lin Feng and the others. Ah, when he met those evil eyes, the sacred beast was the first to be unable to bear it and screamed in pain. Ah, Taodai also couldn't help but scream in pain. Although the sacred beast and Taodai were both very powerful, they were still beasts. Their magic power and sacred arts were powerful, but they couldn't cover up their weakness. The souls of living beings like them were relatively weak. So, even though Tao Ye's cultivation was higher than Lin Feng's, it was Taodai who suffered first. Lin Feng glanced at that pair of eyes and in a flash, he sensed a terrifying and invisible strength penetrate into his brain. It wanted to destroy his soul in the blink of an eye. Lin Feng's soul quickly hid in the primal chaos ancient lamp. That terrifying force bombarded the primal chaos ancient lamp, but was immediately blocked by Lin Feng's Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. End of this chapter. Chapter 5394. What a terrifying soul attack. Lin Feng couldn't help but shiver. Fortunately, he had the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp to help him neutralize the soul attack. Otherwise, the situation would have been very dangerous. Lin Feng suddenly recalled the illusion they had fallen into. At first, Lin Feng thought that it was the God-eating Demon King's doing. Later, he learned that the God-eating Demon King didn't even know that they had entered the cave where he was being suppressed. Therefore, the fact that Lin Feng and the others had fallen into an illusion was enough to rule out the possibility of the God-eating Demon King being the culprit. Now, it seemed that it was the God-eating Demon King's doing. In truth, Lin Feng felt that the shadow could have mobilized some terrifying creatures to deal with them. However, the shadow hadn't done so. Why hadn't it done so? Could it be that it didn't want to deal with Lin Feng and the others? Of course not. Lin Feng guessed that the shadow felt that he had everything under control and that killing Lin Feng and the others quickly was too boring. Therefore, he allowed Lin Feng and the others to enter the Blackwraith Mountains and played a game with Lin Feng and the others. The shadow was indeed someone who liked to play games. After blocking the soul attack, Lin Feng quickly took out the Hui Bao and the Sunshot Divine Arrow. Then, Lin Feng drew his bow and shot an arrow. Whoosh! The Sunshot Divine Arrow shot toward the eye like a bolt of lightning. The light from that eye swept over the sun-shooting Divine Arrow. In an instant, the arrow's attack was neutralized by the eye. Brat, you actually blocked my attack. It seems that you have some special treasure. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to neutralize my attack. The shadow narrowed his eyes at Lin Feng. Lin Feng sneered. So what if I am? The shadow said. Brat, if I were you, I would take advantage of this opportunity to kill those two fellows. They can't resist now. The shadow was so evil that black smoke was about to rise from his ancestral grave. At this time, he was still trying to entice Lin Feng to kill the divine beast and the Tao Dai. However, Lin Feng wasn't moved in the slightest. Everyone wanted to live. However, people lived in this world. There was always something to protect. There was always something to protect. For example, to protect family, love, and friendship. Lin Feng ignored the shadow. Lin Feng didn't use the 15-fold domain because it would consume too much energy. Therefore, Lin Feng only used 5 times his qi, but even so, it was still extremely powerful. The 5-fold domineering magnetic field enveloped the world. The divine beast and the Tao Dai. They would recover soon. Lin Feng. Then, he took out the mysterious iron box, his trump card. Lin Feng knew. It was impossible. Therefore, he needed to rely on some extremely powerful means. Mysterious iron box. Although Lin Feng couldn't really control the mysterious iron box now, it was good that the mysterious iron box didn't hurt Lin Feng as much as before. Swish, swish, swish. When Lin Feng walked towards the shadow, the evil eye in the sky shot out a strange light beam. That strange light beam contained an incomparably strange power. That strange power was still a soul attack. The strange energy entered Lin Feng's mind. This time was different from the previous time. The previous time, the strange energy launched a strong attack on Lin Feng's soul. Therefore, it was blocked by the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. But this time, the strange energy wrapped around the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. Then, it began to seep into the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. What made Lin Feng's hair stand on end was that the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp's defense system couldn't stop the infiltration of the strange energy. One could imagine. Once the strange energy completely seeped into the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. At that time, what kind of terrifying attack would his soul be subjected to? Think about it. It made Lin Feng's hair stand on end. It was really terrifying. Super scary. He had to be on guard against this kind of thing. Lin Feng knew that he had to end the battle quickly. Time waits for no one. The more time he wasted, the more danger he would be in. So, Lin Feng increased his speed. He quickly rushed towards the other party. But when Lin Feng arrived in front of the black silhouette disappeared without a trace. The shadow appeared behind Lin Feng and said, "You may not know me well, but I don't like to fight directly. If you want to fight, you can find the evil eye I condensed. The evil eye naturally referred to the evil eye in the void. That eye was indeed very strange. Lin Feng turned around and charged towards the shadow again. He carried the mysterious iron box on his back and held the arrow war spear in his hand, thrusting it forward. The power was really tyrannical. However, the shadow disappeared silently again. It was impossible to get close to the shadow. The shadow's methods were really shocking. If he couldn't even touch the shadow, then there was no need to talk about a life and death battle with the shadow. The shadow once again appeared behind Lin Feng and said, "I already told you that I won't fight with you. Why didn't you listen? Go and break my evil eye. If you can break my evil eye, maybe I can consider fighting with you." Do you think I can't sense the strangeness of that evil eye? That demonic eye is outside of the three realms and is not part of the five elements. Although it appears in this space-time, its true body is not in this space-time. No matter how hard I try, I can't destroy that demonic eye, Lin Feng said coldly. After hearing Lin Feng's words, the shadow was extremely shocked. He couldn't even believe his ears. He squinted at Lin Feng and said, "I really didn't expect you to be able to see the truth. I underestimated your ability before. But you can't even get close to my body. I'm guessing that the strange energy in your mind is about to break through the defense of that magic treasure, right? Once that magic treasure's defense is broken, I'll see how you die." Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He said coldly, "Do you really think I can't deal with you?" As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng used the one chi into three pure ones technique. His two clones appeared. Then, Lin Feng's real body and his two clones all used 5 times the domineering magnetic field. 3 times the domineering magnetic field stacked together to form a 15-fold domineering magnetic field, which directly enveloped the shadow. Sogu's website. Chapter 5395. When Lin Feng's 15-fold domineering magnetic field was released, the surrounding void seemed to freeze. What are you?" The black figure couldn't help but look surprised. He felt that his movements were greatly restricted. This caused the black shadow's gaze to become slightly unsightly. He was a supreme existence in the Blackwraith Mountains. A powerful existence like him. He had always been in control of everything. But now, he was facing Lin Feng's 15-fold domineering magnetic field. He had a feeling that he couldn't control the situation. This feeling made him extremely angry. He hated this feeling very much. Lin Feng held the epic war spear and quickly charged at the black figure. The power of the golden dwarf, the magic lotus, the stone golem clone, the saint bone, and the dominator's armor all merged into Lin Feng's body. With the help of these powers, Lin Feng's battle strength suddenly soared. At the same time, Lin Feng also used the epic spear technique. The epic spear technique combined with the epic war spear. Lin Feng burst out with his strongest attack. Moreover, the 15-fold domineering magnetic field had a great impact on the black figure. The black figure's speed, strength, and other things were greatly affected. When Lin Feng came for him, the black figure still wanted to do the same thing and leave silently. But this time, he couldn't do it. Lin Feng's spear. It was already coming for him. Let him. There was no way to avoid it. The black figure had to block Lin Feng's spear. The black figure moved to the left. Then he dodged Lin Feng's spear. But Lin Feng's spear suddenly whipped at the black figure. Bang! Lin Feng's spear fiercely crashed onto the black silhouette's body. In a flash, the black silhouette was blown away. Damn it! The black figure couldn't help but let out an angry roar. For an expert like him, he absolutely couldn't accept being sent flying by an ant like Lin Feng. Even though no one else knew about this, he still couldn't accept it. This was a huge blow to his inner world, and it would even cause the seeds of failure to appear in his inner world. Once the seeds of failure were planted in the inner world, it would be extremely disadvantageous for the Black Shadow. At this moment, Lin Feng attacked again. He activated the Epic War Spear and stabbed towards the black figure. The Black Shadow looked gloomy and his eyes were filled with killing intent. He said coldly, "Boy, you've angered me. I'm going to tear you apart myself." As soon as he finished speaking, the Black Shadow stretched out his palm and grabbed Lin Feng's spear. Suddenly, a shocking thing happened. The shadow actually grabbed the spear in its hand. This scene made Lin Feng unable to believe his eyes. The epic war spear was so powerful, but it was caught by the black shadow. The black shadow was simply too powerful. However, everything was true. Lin Feng had no choice but to believe it. After grabbing the epic war spear, the black shadow's other hand slapped towards Lin Feng. Bang! An invisible force fiercely bombarded Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng was immediately sent flying. Wah! Lin Feng couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. The black shadow's attack was too powerful. If it wasn't for the ruler's armor, which was a powerful defensive treasure, it would have been extremely dangerous. Now, the epic war spear was in the black shadow's hand. However, the black shadow clearly didn't have any intention of controlling Lin Feng's epic war spear. He probably didn't feel safe using Lin Feng's weapon, so he directly threw the epic war spear at Lin Feng. However, as soon as the epic war spear flew out, it suddenly changed direction and stabbed towards the black shadow. It directly caught the black shadow off guard. It turned out that Lin Feng, who was still in midair, had used the weapon control technique recorded in the weapon mantra. This was a heaven-defying technique. One had to know. The weapon mantra could even control other people's magic treasures. If one used the weapon mantra to control their magic treasures from a distance, the power of magic treasures was often very terrifying. Lin Feng had originally hoped to injure the black shadow. However, to Lin Feng's dismay, the black shadow disappeared in the face of the epic war spear. The epic war spear didn't hit the black shadow, but stabbed into the ground. Not good. Lin Feng's expression couldn't help but change slightly when he saw the black shadow disappear. He felt that things were not going well. Lin Feng wanted to quickly teleport away, but it was too late. The black silhouette appeared next to Lin Feng. He threw a kick at Lin Feng. Bang! That powerful kick landed heavily on Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng felt that his body was in pain, as if it had been hit by a high-speed, immemorial mountain. Fortunately, the defensive power of the ruler's armor was strong enough, and Lin Feng's body was also terrifying enough. Therefore, Lin Feng blocked the black shadow's attack. However, the black shadow quickly flew towards Lin Feng. The black shadow was very angry now, so he wanted to quickly finish off Lin Feng. Lin Feng was indeed in big trouble. First, the strange power in his mind was about to break the defense of the chaotic ancient lamp. Second, the black shadow took the initiative to attack. The black shadow was so powerful that it took the initiative to attack. Its combat power was too heaven-defying. Therefore, it was very difficult to block it. Lin Feng knew that he had to open the mysterious iron box. If he didn't, he might not have the chance to open it later. Lin Feng took the mysterious iron box off his back. Then, Lin Feng opened the mysterious iron box. Of course, Lin Feng only opened a crack. He really didn't dare to completely open the mysterious iron box. If he were to completely open the mysterious iron box, he would be killed by the mysterious iron box before his opponent could even die. If he only opened a crack, the mysterious iron box wouldn't have much effect on Lin Feng. When Lin Feng opened the mysterious iron box, the black shadow came to Lin Feng. The black shadow didn't know what the mysterious iron box was. Therefore, he still attacked Lin Feng with his palm. Lin Feng felt that the mysterious iron box seemed to be getting more and more strange. Lin Feng even felt that the mysterious iron box seemed to have its own thoughts. Fortunately, the mysterious iron box didn't pose any threat to him now. The dignity of the mysterious iron box couldn't be challenged. It could be said in another way. The dignity of the dismembered corpse inside the mysterious iron box couldn't be challenged. After feeling the attack of the black shadow, the dismembered corpse in the mysterious iron box seemed to feel that its dignity was being challenged. A streak of blood-red light flew out from the crack. The bloody light directly swept towards the black shadow. After the black shadow saw the bloody light, his expression changed greatly. He wanted to dodge but couldn't. Bang! Accompanied by a violent collision sound, the black shadow was sent flying by the bloody light released from the mysterious iron box. Powerful as the black shadow, in midair, he spat out blood. Chapter 5396. How is this possible? The Black Shadow roared in disbelief. What kind of terrifying existence was he? He was actually beaten to the point of vomiting blood by a ray of bloodlight. For the Black Shadow, this was something that the Black Shadow found hard to accept. This was a matter of dignity. He really couldn't tolerate it. The Black Shadow didn't care what magic treasure Lin Feng had taken out. He only had one thought in his mind. That was, kill Lin Feng, to vent the hatred in his heart. If not, then, how could he calm the anger in his heart? Dark Devil God. The Black Shadow suddenly shouted coldly. He used a very powerful sacred art. This sacred art evolved into a powerful devil god. The devil god lingered in the darkness. It should be the dark devil god that the Black Shadow was talking about. In reality, the Black Shadow was such a powerful existence. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't use his sacred art to deal with a young junior like Lin Feng. But this time, the Black Shadow was at a disadvantage in the hands of Lin Feng. He knew that he definitely couldn't underestimate Lin Feng, or else he would suffer a great loss. Thus, only then did the Black Shadow use his powerful sacred art. That devil god was like a real devil god, and a powerful aura surged out. It was shocking. It was suffocating. The dark devil god summoned by an existence like the Black Shadow was naturally powerful. Lin Feng felt that he was like an ant in front of the dark devil god. But it didn't matter. Lin Feng had the mysterious iron box. Just now, a ray of bloodlight released from the mysterious iron box had injured the Black Shadow. Now, Lin Feng's confidence was bursting. Trample the heavens and shatter the earth. Destroy the universe. Twilight of the gods. The immortals have fallen. Suddenly, the dark devil god stepped out. Moreover, he even said some extremely pretentious words. After the devil god finished speaking, his speed suddenly increased. Like a bolt of lightning, he charged towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng sneered and said, "Who doesn't know how to act pretentious? But if you only talk about showing off, you don't have the ability to do so. You'll just make a fool of yourself." After hearing Lin Feng's words, the black figure's mouth twitched slightly. Now, the Black Shadow really wanted to say, "Who was the one acting tough? You have to figure it out yourself." At this time, the dark demon god controlled by Black Shadow had already arrived in front of Lin Feng. However, another blood-red light swept out from the mysterious iron box. The blood-red light swept towards the darkness demonic god. "Break for me!" The dark demon god could not help but growl. He threw a punch at the bloody light. Bang! Along with the violent sound of collision, there was a sudden sound. The dark demonic god's fist collided with the blood-red light. A shocking scene ensued. The dark demonic god's body crumbled. The power of the blood-red light was actually so strong. Even the dark demon god summoned by Black Shadow was destroyed. Damn it! After seeing this scene, the Shadow could not help but curse in a low voice. He knew. Perhaps the situation had gone beyond his expectations and beyond his control. He was indeed very powerful. He could look askance at Lin Feng, look askance at the sacred beast, look askance at Tao Tai, and look askance at everyone. However, he had to pay attention to the mysterious iron box. What exactly was the mysterious iron box? What exactly was inside? Black Shadow did not know. The only thing he knew was that the mysterious iron box was too powerful. Facing the attack of the mysterious iron box, he simply could not find a way to fight back. So, even though he really wanted to kill Lin Feng, it seemed like he wouldn't be able to do so. This made Black Shadow extremely sullen. But this was the situation he was facing. What was the use of being sullen? He really could not kill Lin Feng. Black Shadow said in a deep voice, "Kid, you have that powerful magic treasure. I can't do anything to you, but you can't do anything to me either. I admit defeat today. Take your friend and leave quickly." Lin Feng knew that Black Shadow had admitted defeat. But Lin Feng did not want to give up so easily. Now that Lin Feng was in control of the mysterious iron box, he was at least in an invincible position. If he did not take advantage of this opportunity to blackmail Black Shadow, was that still Lin Feng? Lin Feng said, "I know, you are afraid in your heart, but you don't have to deny it. I have always been a person who takes revenge on those who take 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 revenge on me. When Lin Feng said these words, Tao Tai and the sacred beast had just recovered. Hearing Lin Feng's pretentious words, Tao Tai and the sacred beast were both dumbfounded. They thought they had heard wrong. Black Shadow was so terrifying. Lin Feng actually dared to say such words to Black Shadow. It was unbelievable. But soon Tao Tai and the sacred beast found that something was wrong. Logically speaking, Lin Feng's words, shouldn't Black Shadow be furious and kill Lin Feng? But Black Shadow did not. Black Shadow was very angry, but he was restraining himself. Tao Tai and the sacred beast were both a little apprehensive. They didn't know what was going on. Lin Feng actually made such a powerful Black Shadow so afraid. Brat, who do you think you are? You dare to threaten me? If it wasn't for the treasure in your hands, you would simply be an ant in my eyes. If I tell you to leave, you will leave. If you are greedy, then when we really fight, I won't necessarily be afraid of you. Hee hee, since there's nothing to talk about, then let's fight to the death. Lin Feng carried the mysterious iron box and quickly rushed towards Black Shadow. Seeing that Lin Feng was really coming, Black Shadow's expression became gloomy. A tyrannical existence like him naturally wouldn't take the initiative to escape. He really couldn't afford to lose that person. He couldn't stand such a thing. So, Black Shadow once again launched an attack on Lin Feng. This time, Black Shadow didn't use any magic. Instead, he took out a magic treasure. That magic treasure was a palm-sized evil blade. Although the magic treasure was small, but the evil aura was monstrous. It was extremely terrifying. It was definitely an amazing treasure. After seeing the palm-sized evil blade, Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He directly swung the mysterious iron box and smashed it towards the evil blade. Although the mysterious iron box wasn't a magic treasure, Lin Feng used it as a magic treasure. Seeing that the evil blade was about to collide with the mysterious iron box. But at that moment, a powerful devouring force was emitted from the mysterious iron box. That powerful devouring power directly enveloped the evil blade. It seemed to want to devour the evil blade. Not good. Black Shadow's expression changed. He wanted to control the evil blade to escape from the mysterious iron box. But Black Shadow failed. The devouring power released by the mysterious iron box became stronger and stronger. The evil blade was instantly devoured by the mysterious iron box's devouring power. Wow! Then, the connection between the evil blade and the Black Shadow was cut off. Black Shadow suffered a backlash and spat out another mouthful of blood. Go to hell. Lin Feng held the mysterious iron box and rushed towards Black Shadow. Black Shadow's expression became extremely ugly. He didn't dare to fight against Lin Feng. He turned around and fled. Lin Feng carried the mysterious iron box and chased after Black Shadow. Chapter 5397. Don't run. Lin Feng shouted. If you don't chase me, I won't run. The Shadow said. In truth, the Shadow was extremely depressed. He was the master of the Blackwraith Mountains. Yet he was being chased around by a young cultivator. He was about to die from depression. But what could he do? Lin Feng was in charge of the mysterious box. The Shadow had already witnessed the box's power. The word heaven-defying couldn't even begin to describe it. It was such a terrifying box. The Black Shadow was really scared. The Tao Tai and the sacred beast both had strange expressions on their faces. Just how awesome had the Shadow been before? He looked down on the world. But now, the Shadow was being chased around by Lin Feng. It was a truly inconceivable scene. But all of this was real. The Tao Tai and the sacred beast quickly chased after him. The Shadow's expression was extremely ugly. He wanted to shake off Lin Feng, but Lin Feng had completely locked onto his aura. There was no way he could shake off Lin Feng. The Shadow said that Lin Feng couldn't do anything to him. But the black silhouette knew that he was just trying to fool Lin Feng. Because the Shadow really did sense an aura of death from the mysterious box. It was a feeling that drove him crazy. He couldn't even remember the last time he'd sensed the aura of death. Actually, we don't have much of a grudge between us. Why are you so persistent? Do you really want to fight to the death with me? Lin Feng said. Of course I don't want to fight to the death with you. I just want to make a fortune. As for whether or not we'll work together, that's up to you. The shadow's expression was gloomy. He couldn't stand being threatened by a young cultivator. He tried to shake off Lin Feng, but failed in the end. He flew into the depths of the mountains, and Lin Feng chased after him. There were many terrifying existences hiding in the Blackwraith Mountains. But when they saw that even the shadow wasn't a match for Lin Feng, they decided to leave. Naturally, they wouldn't come out to die. They were not stupid. In the depths, Lin Feng once again launched an attack on the shadow. The mysterious iron box swept out a bloody light towards the shadow. The black figure dodged the bloody light's attack in an extremely sorry state. But he couldn't dodge it. Because the bloody light was very strange, it locked onto the black shadow. There was no way for the black shadow to escape. Therefore, the bloody light ruthlessly swept across the black figure's body. After enduring Shueguang's terrifying attack, Shueguang's expression changed drastically. The black shadow was sent flying. Wow! The black figure spat out another mouthful of blood. Lin Feng once again attacked the shadow. Stop! 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 Let's make peace. Let's make peace. The black shadow said loudly. This was the choice that the black shadow was most unwilling to make. Surrendering to a young cultivator was simply worse than killing him. But the shadow didn't want to die. Just how difficult was it to cultivate to his level? If he died, everything became nothing. Therefore, even though he was extremely unwilling, the black shadow still chose to compromise in the end. A bad life is better than a good death. That was the logic. Hee, if you said so earlier, I wouldn't have chased you all the way. Even if you're not tired, I'm tired. Lin Feng said. The black shadow rolled his eyes wildly. If you're tired from chasing, then don't chase me. Why are you chasing me? These words? The black shadow didn't dare to say it out loud, afraid that it would anger Lin Feng again. Tao Dai and the sacred beast also flew over. Tao Dai looked at the black shadow, curled his lips and said, Weren't you very awesome before? Why are you scared now? The black shadow was furious. It was really like a dragon in shallow waters being teased by shrimps, a tiger in the plains being bullied by dogs. He was such a powerful figure. Lin Feng came to humiliate him. That was because Lin Feng had the mysterious iron box. But what was Tao Dai? The black shadow originally wanted to refute a few words. But seeing that the relationship between Tao Dai and Lin Feng was so strong, he immediately gave up the thought of refuting. Now the black shadow only wanted Lin Feng to leave quickly. Everything else was easy to say. And so, the black shadow ignored Tao Dai, instead looking at Lin Feng and asking, What do you want? Hurry up and tell me. Lin Feng said, You're the master of the Blackwraith Mountains, and so many experts have died there over the years. I'm sure you've obtained many good things. How about this? Give me 10,000 immortal items first. The black shadow's mouth twitched violently. 10,000 immortal items? Do you think immortal items are cabbages? Many immortals in the reverse time world don't have immortal items. Do you know why? Because they can't find the materials to forge them. You're asking for 10,000 immortal items. You're really asking for too much. Lin Feng said, Don't talk so much nonsense. You should know what it means to spend money to avoid disaster. If you can't give me 10,000 immortal items, I'll kill you. You're going too far. The black shadow was so angry that his entire body trembled, especially when he heard Lin Feng say that he'd kill him. Only a pig or a cow would use the word kill, right? Surprisingly, Lin Feng was using the word slaughter to describe himself. The black shadow really wanted to tear Lin Feng to shreds. Endure. Endure. I have to endure. That's what the black shadow told himself. He was the master of the Blackwraith Mountains, and yet he'd been forced to such an extent. If word of this got out, no one would believe him. I only have 8,000 immortal items, not 10,000. The black shadow said, 8,000? All right, hurry up and give them to me. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. In truth, Lin Feng hadn't really expected the black shadow to give him 10,000 immortal items. 10,000 immortal items were enough to equip an elite army. Such an army would be invincible. Lin Feng had thought that the Black Shadow would be able to take out 2,000 or 3,000 immortal items. Who would have thought? The Black Shadow actually said that he could take out 8,000 immortal items. Lin Feng was naturally shocked. Apart from shock, he was pleasantly surprised. 8,000 immortal items, in addition to the ones he'd collected, and some immortal materials. Once he returned, he'd be able to easily form an elite army with immortal items. If he really went to war with the Heavenly Court, if so many cultivators activated their immortal items together, a sage was coming. He'd have to retreat. When he thought of this, Lin Feng couldn't help but grin. The Black Shadow waved his hand. One immortal item after another flew out. Lin Feng's eyes almost popped out of their sockets when he saw all the items. Even though Lin Feng was experienced and knowledgeable, he was still shocked. This was the first time he'd seen so many immortal items. Lin Feng put away the 8,000 immortal items. He was instantly in a good mood. "I've given you the immortal items. Can you leave now?" the Black Shadow asked. Lin Feng said, 8,000 immortal items is only the first condition. I have many more. Don't be in such a hurry. Let's talk about them one by one." Hearing this, the corner of the Black Shadow's mouth twitched violently. Chapter 5398. I've already given you 8,000 immortal items. Are you still not satisfied? Don't forget the saying. A man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. The Shadow said fiercely. Lin Feng had naturally heard of the saying. A man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. It wasn't a good thing to say. Lin Feng said, "I've always been easy to satisfy. So long as you satisfy my demands, I naturally won't make any more demands of you." The black silhouette had the urge to slap Lin Feng to death. Because, he realized, Lin Feng didn't listen to him at all. Instead, he continued to talk nonsense. The Shadow knew that Lin Feng was difficult to deal with. He didn't want to continue agreeing to Lin Feng's demands. However, he didn't have the authority to do so. It was better to think of a way to get rid of Lin Feng as soon as possible. "Continue," the Shadow said. "Do you have any pills that can increase my strength? Give me a few thousand," Lin Feng said. The Shadow was speechless. "If I had such pills, do you think I'd still be here?" Lin Feng said. "Then let's settle for the next best thing. You must have many precious immortal medicines, right?" "I don't," the Shadow said. "Liar. The Blackwraith Mountains are huge. There must be many immortal medicines growing here. How about this? Give me 10,000, and I'll stop bothering you," Lin Feng said. When he heard Lin Feng ask for 10,000 immortal medicines, the Shadow almost flew into a rage. However, the Shadow even heard Lin Feng say that he'd stop bothering him if he gave him 10,000 immortal medicines. This one sentence. The Shadow was very happy. The Shadow said, "Fine. I'll give you 10,000 immortal medicines." The Shadow waved his hand. And then, a large number of immortal medicines flew out. They were all immortal medicines. All of them flew towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng happily put away the 10,000 immortal medicines. "I'll give you the immortal medicines. Now, immediately, leave the Blackwraith Mountains," the black figure said. He really didn't want to see Lin Feng for another second. All he wanted was for Lin Feng to leave as soon as possible. Lin Feng said, "Don't be in such a hurry. Let's talk about the next condition," the black silhouette said furiously. "Earlier, you clearly said that you would stop pestering me if I gave you 10,000 immortal herbs. Are you going back on your word?" Lin Feng said, "As a man, I'll keep my word. Of course, I won't go back on my word." "Since you won't go back on your word, you should leave now. Don't continue to stay here, and don't continue to make unreasonable demands of me," Lin Feng said. "I just said, I won't pester you. But what I said was, if you give me 10,000 immortal herbs, I won't pester you for more. What do you think that means?" "You're messing with me." The black figure gloomily looked at Lin Feng. He naturally knew that Lin Feng had played a word game with him. The black figure had made several powerful enemies in his life, and some of them had even made him gnash his teeth in hatred. However, those enemies paled in comparison to Lin Feng. The black figure had never hated anyone as much as he hated Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "We're close partners. Why would I mess with you? Please don't misunderstand me." "Partners, my ass. Bastard. Bastard. You should be struck by lightning. You should die a horrible death." The black figure kept cursing Lin Feng in his heart. Whatever sounded bad, he would curse. The black figure did his best to suppress his anger, then looked at Lin Feng and said, "Speak. What other conditions do you have?" "Immortal and demonic sutras. You should know some of them, right?" Lin Feng said. The black figure said, "I can't give you my legacy. Everyone has their own bottom line. I think you should understand what I mean." Lin Feng said, "Everyone has their own bottom line, but it depends on what that bottom line is compared to. I've always believed that life is the most precious thing. Sometimes, even the so-called bottom line can't compare to life." The black figure sneered, "You probably can't persuade yourself when you say that, right? If it was as you said, you should have killed each other in order to survive. You shouldn't have joined forces to deal with me. Now you're telling me that life is more important than a bottom line. What a joke." Lin Feng was speechless. This guy really knew how to find excuses to refute him. However, Lin Feng said, "It's because I was confident that I could deal with you, so I didn't need to kill each other." After hearing Lin Feng's mocking words, the black figure's mouth twitched violently again. The black figure felt that he might not be able to find another person as thick-skinned as Lin Feng in this vast world. How could he be? How could he be so shameless? "I can give you a demonic sutra. I came across it by chance. If you want more, I can't give you any more," the black figure said. Lin Feng knew that this was the black figure's limit. Being able to get a demonic sutra from the black figure was already a pretty good harvest. "All right," Lin Feng nodded. The black figure took out a jade tube and threw it to Lin Feng. Lin Feng took the jade tube and sent his divine sense into it. He couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. This demonic sutra was quite interesting. It was called the All Things Demonic Sutra. This was an extremely extraordinary demonic scripture, according to the introduction on it. According to the description, after cultivating this demonic sutra, one could condense one image after another. These images were very special. Cultivators couldn't use their divine sense to distinguish the difference between these images and the real body. This was the most terrifying part. It could be imagined that when fighting with others, so many images would suddenly condense. Then, he would launch a killing blow on the other party. The other party wouldn't even know what had happened. They would have already been killed. Moreover, condensing images was only one of the abilities of the All Things Demonic Sutra. There were still many terrifying things about the All Things Demonic Sutra. For example, when the All Things Demonic Sutra was cultivated to a high level, one could condense real clones. Those clones could even turn into separate individuals and live independently in this world. The original body that cultivated the All Things Demonic Sutra would die. That kind of clone wouldn't die. Of course, the All Things Demonic Sutra still had many unimaginable abilities. Lin Feng would have to wait until he successfully cultivated the All Things Demonic Sutra before he could explore those abilities. "You're quite sensible. This time, our cooperation was quite pleasant. I hope there's still a chance to cooperate." Lin Feng grinned. The black figure was speechless. He cursed inwardly, "Cooperation my ass. I don't want to see you ever again." Lin Feng didn't care what the black figure thought. After obtaining the All Things Demonic Sutra, Lin Feng didn't ask for anything else from the black figure. He, the Tao Dai, and the sacred beast quickly flew out of the Black Wraith Mountains. Sogu's website. Chapter 5399. Lin Feng didn't plan on keeping the myriad demon scripture for himself. It wouldn't be too late to teach it to the Tao Dai and other sacred beasts after they left. He could even teach the myriad demon scripture to Hong Yu, and the others. The myriad demon scripture was extremely powerful. It would definitely be of great use to them. Before long, Lin Feng and the others flew out. However, Lin Feng didn't see Hong Yu, and the others. Logically speaking, Hong Yu, and the others should have been waiting outside. But where were they? Lin Feng couldn't help but feel puzzled. Could something have happened to them? When he considered this possibility, Lin Feng immediately frowned. Please don't let anything happen to them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At that moment, a group of people flew over from afar. Lin Feng saw Hong Yu, and the others. He couldn't help but narrow his eyes, because Hong Yu, and the others had clearly been restrained. Who are you people? Lin Feng asked in a low voice. The leader of the group of cultivators was a very handsome man. He didn't look particularly old. However, if one were to carefully sense him, one would be able to tell. He had probably cultivated for more than 1,000,000 years. Kid, I didn't expect you to have a treasure capable of restraining the master of the Blackwraith Mountains. My horizons have been broadened. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. If this person had said something like that, that meant, during the battle, this guy had entered the Blackwraith Mountains? Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. At the time, Lin Feng had been focused on the battle with the shadow, so he hadn't carefully investigated his surroundings. Now it seemed, perhaps this person had been hiding in the shadows and had seen him use the mysterious iron box to deal with the shadow. This guy knew he wasn't easy to deal with. And so, he and his subordinates had captured Hong Yu, and the others. What was their goal? Lin Feng had already guessed what was going on. Let them go, Lin Feng said. Of course, but that depends on whether you cooperate or not. This girl beside me is your woman, right? Cooperate and I'll return her to you. If you don't, I don't mind turning this beautiful face into a flowery one. As he spoke, he waved his knife at Hong Yu's face. Hong Yu was a woman. Women loved beauty. Naturally, Hong Yu when she heard the cultivator's words, Yu's face. How do you want to cooperate? Lin Feng said in a low voice. Give me the mysterious iron box and I'll let them go, said Lin Feng. The man said, Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded, without hesitation, because he knew that in this world, besides him, there was probably no one else who could control the mysterious metal box. Besides, Lin Feng couldn't throw the box away even if he wanted to. Back then, Lin Feng had the impression that the box was too strange. He wanted to throw it away. Lin Feng didn't get what he wanted. After throwing away the mysterious iron box, it automatically returned to his storage ring. So what if he temporarily gave the mysterious iron box to this person? The mysterious iron box would still be returned to its owner. I'll give you the item and the person, Lin Feng said. Of course you can, but I advise you not to play any tricks. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that these people will survive. The man said. Lin Feng said indifferently, I naturally won't play any tricks. On the contrary, you'd better not think about hurting my people after obtaining the treasure. If you dare to do so, no matter where you hide, I will turn you to ashes. The man said, I'm a man of my word. Let's start the deal. Lin Feng nodded. He took out the mysterious iron box and wrapped it with his magic power. The man and the others released their magic power and enveloped Hong Yu, and the others. Hong Yu, and the others flew towards Lin Feng. The mysterious iron box flew towards them. Finally, Hong Yu, and the others successfully arrived at Lin Feng's side. The mysterious iron box was in the man's hand. The man seemed to know that the mysterious iron box was strange, so he quickly used a seal to seal it. Lin Feng tried to summon the mysterious iron box back, but because the mysterious iron box was sealed, Lin Feng couldn't summon the mysterious iron box back. Wah! At this time, Hong Yu, and the others suddenly spat out blood. Lin Feng's expression changed. He quickly supported Hong Yu. As for Chu Yuan, Niu Dashan, and the others, they fell to the ground. Their faces were pale. Obviously, Hong Yu, and the others had been tampered with. Let's go. After the man put away the mysterious iron box, he led the group away. Lin Feng didn't chase after them. The most important thing now was to find out what was going on with Hong Yu, and the others. Lin Feng's divine will invaded Hong Yu's body. Lin Feng found that Hong Yu's body had fused with a strange energy. That strange energy was corroding Hong Yu's internal organs. So, Hong Yu spat out a mouthful of blood. Lin Feng then checked on Chu Yuan, Niu Dashan, and the others. He found that everyone was in the same situation. Yu, what's going on? Lin Feng asked. Hong Yu smiled bitterly. I don't know either. I only remember that person patting me from behind. I feel so uncomfortable now. Am I going to die? Wah. As Hong Yuer spoke, she couldn't help but spit out another mouthful of blood. Bang. At this time, a cultivator's body exploded. The cultivator who died had the weakest cultivation. It was difficult to resist that strange energy. That strange energy invaded his body and was incompatible with his own magic power. Therefore, it caused an extremely strong rejection. So, only then did his body directly explode. It's the erosion palm, an extremely evil and tyrannical sacred art. Hurry up and seal their 8 extraordinary meridians, and then use your magic power to protect their internal organs. Otherwise, they're dead for sure. Tao Tai was experienced and knowledgeable and couldn't help but shout in a deep voice. Lin Feng didn't dare to hesitate, and a powerful magic power continuously poured into Hong Yuer's body. The magic power. It wrapped around Hong Yuer's 8 extraordinary meridians. At the same time, a portion of the magic power entered Hong Yuer's internal organs. Tao Tai, the divine beast, was also helping the others protect their 8 extraordinary meridians and internal organs. Lin Feng and the other 2 worked together. Not long after, everyone's 8 extraordinary meridians and internal organs were protected. Unfortunately, the cultivator from before died before Lin Feng and the others could save him. For the time being, we can't use magic power. Otherwise, there will be big trouble, Tao Tai said. Hong Yuer and the others nodded with pale faces. They were already very glad that they were able to keep their lives. End of chapter. Chapter 5400. Yellow sand filled the sky. An ancient ship was flying over from afar. In the end, the ancient ship descended. A group of people came down from the ancient ship. That group was Lin Feng's group. Lin Feng put away the ancient starry sky ship Xianyuan and looked towards the ancient city not far away. Sandstorm City. This was the name of this ancient city. In this world where time had reversed, there were all kinds of complicated terrains. This place was a plain. Maybe after walking for a certain distance, it would become a desert. After Lin Feng's group paid the entrance fee, they entered Sandstorm City. There were many agents in Sandstorm City. They were all agents that pulled in new cultivators to rent houses. Lin Feng's group had encountered such agents in Shuiyang City. This time, they met such agents again in Sandstorm City. Lin Feng asked someone to take them to the rented houses. The agent took Lin Feng's group to see several houses. Lin Feng took a fancy to one of the houses. The rent was 500,000 high-grade immortal stones per month. Of course, it was not cheap, but for Lin Feng, it was nothing. Lin Feng paid a year's rent in advance. The agent rarely saw such a generous tenant. He rented it for a year. That was really generous of him. Actually, the reason why Lin Feng rented it for such a long time was because Hong Yuer and the others needed to stay here for a while. The eroding palm they suffered was quite strange. They needed special pills to dissolve the strange energy produced by the eroding palm. So Lin Feng needed to find those people. In addition, the mysterious iron box also needed to be recovered. But currently, Lin Feng did not know who the other party was. If he went out to find those people, he did not know when he would return. So, Lin Feng rented it for a while longer. After the agent left, everyone looked for a place to stay, because everyone was in low spirits. So Lin Feng did not call everyone out for a meal. At night, after a round of sex, Lin Feng and Hong Yuer were snuggling together. Hong Yuer's body did not have many problems. Mainly, her 8 extraordinary meridians were sealed. He had become like an ordinary person. Of course, the only difference between them and ordinary people was that their physiques were stronger. After all, Hong Yuer was a golden immortal. His physique was naturally very strong. I really don't want to be separated from you, Hong Yuer said softly. Lin Feng said, I don't want to be separated from you either. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. Yes. Hong Yuer nodded. She slept in Lin Feng's arms. The next day, Lin Feng went out to investigate the whereabouts of that group of people. Lin Feng had 2 clues. First of all, many of them knew a vicious divine ability like the shadowy erosion palm. Secondly, Lin Feng remembered the appearance of that cultivator, so he could find someone to draw a portrait of him. Then, He took the portrait to look for the other party. Taodai had heard of the Shadowmelt Palm before, but he didn't know what kind of power the Shadowmelt Palm was. Lin Feng felt that this might not be difficult to find out. Taodai transformed into his human form. He went out with Lin Feng to gather information. The divine beast stayed in the house. Currently, Hongyu, and the others could not use their magic power. Therefore, one of them had to stay in the house to prevent something unexpected from happening. Lin Feng first found someone to draw a portrait. There were still some differences between the portrait and the real person. However, Lin Feng was already quite satisfied that the other party's portrait was 60 to 70% similar. In the world where time had reversed, there was a huge force called the Rain Pavilion. This force was very similar to the Undying Realms by Xiao Pavilion. This force, they sold all kinds of information. Lin Feng and Taodai arrived at the Rain Pavilion. The one who received Lin Feng and Taodai was a beautiful woman. The beautiful woman had a well-rounded figure, fair skin, and a beautiful face. She could be considered a first-rate beauty. Moreover, she was charming and mature. Very charming. The beautiful woman was naturally extremely confident in herself. She was used to seeing male cultivators looking at her with ill intentions. But today's two guests didn't have any evil intentions. This surprised the beautiful woman. Then, she became a little unhappy. Could it be that these two felt that she wasn't charming? Actually, the beautiful woman was thinking too much. Lin Feng's eyes were clear and bright, because Lin Feng had seen too many beauties. Lin Feng's women, which one of them wasn't the best of the best? Although Lin Feng still liked beautiful women very much. However, to be honest, Lin Feng had long been immune to those beautiful women. It was true that he liked them, but it wasn't to the extent that he couldn't take his eyes off beautiful women. As for Taodai, this guy was only interested in food. Towards women, he wasn't interested. The two of you are really lucky. I only receive one guest a day, but the two of you actually bumped into each other. The beautiful woman said with a smile. Lin Feng said, hearing the fairy say that, we are indeed lucky enough. Hee. The beautiful woman couldn't help but laugh and say, I can't afford to be called fairy. I'm already old. Lin Feng said, fairy is too modest. Fairy is at the prime of her youth and is at her most charming. How can you be old? Lin Feng naturally spoke the human language and the ghost language. In any case, praising others wouldn't make him lose 2 pounds of flesh. Naturally, he had to choose words that others would like to hear. Of course, this beautiful woman was indeed of the highest quality, and Lin Feng wasn't wrong. The beautiful woman smiled and asked, May I know your name, young master? Lin Feng. So it's Lin Gongzi. My name is Murong Wanyue, the Tower Master of Sandstorm City's Heavenly Rain Pavilion. The beautiful woman said. Lin Feng was slightly surprised. Although Sandstorm City's Heavenly Rain Pavilion was only an office of the Heavenly Rain Pavilion. However, this position was actually extremely important. To be able to hold the position of Tower Master, one usually had a very deep background. Furthermore, a woman was the Tower Master. Lin Feng said, Excuse me, I didn't expect you to be the Tower Master of Heavenly Rain Pavilion. With you here, it seems that we will definitely be able to find out the information we need today. The beautiful woman smiled and said, I don't dare make such a promise. The beautiful woman's words were also reasonable. One couldn't be too sure about things. Otherwise, it would be easy to slap one in the face. After a pause, the beautiful woman asked, What information does young master want to find out? Lin Feng said, It's like this. I want to know which faction has passed down the Eclipse Palm. Hearing this, the beautiful woman couldn't help but say, The Eclipse Palm is not a divine ability passed down by a faction. From what I know, there are many factions that have mastered the cultivation method of the Eclipse Palm. Oh, there's such a thing? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. Usually, such a powerful divine ability would be controlled by a certain faction. It was very rare for it to be spread widely. However, the Eclipse Palm situation, it seemed a little different. Chapter 5401. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. If that's the case, it'll be extremely difficult to deduce which faction this person is from through the Eclipse Palm. Lin Feng frowned. The woman nodded. That's true. Lin Feng said, I have a portrait here. I wonder if you can use it to find this person. The woman said, if you have a portrait, it'll be easier to deduce if you combine it with the clues from the eclipse palm. Lin Feng nodded, took out the portrait, and handed it to the woman. The woman glanced at the portrait and said, I don't know this person, but please wait a moment. I'll send someone to investigate. All right. Lin Feng nodded. The beautiful woman immediately stood up and took the portrait Lin Feng had given her. She probably ordered her subordinates to investigate this matter. Not long after, the woman returned. The woman smiled and said, since you're looking for this person, you must have an extremely important matter. However, there's something I have to tell you. Please speak, Lin Feng said. The factions that control the Eclipse Palm are all very powerful. Many of them have Saint Realm powerhouses. Even the weakest faction has a great saint. The woman explained. Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. 9th level Saint Realm. The first level was called the Saint Realm. It meant, when one cultivated to this level, they had already become a Saint Realm cultivator, so it was called the Saint Realm. The second level was called the Small Saint Realm. Cultivators at this level would begin to grasp the mysterious power of the Saint Realm, and their strength would increase greatly. The third level was called the Great Saint Realm. This level was very powerful. They had already condensed Saint Realm law and grasped unimaginable power. The fourth level was called the Saint King Realm. Only the King of Saints could be called a Saint King. After breaking through to the Saint King Realm, one could look down on the world. The fifth level was called the Saint Realm. It was rumored that the fifth level of the Saint Realm could raise one's own Dao to the same level as the Minor Heavenly Dao. What was the Minor Heavenly Dao? The Minor Heavenly Dao was the 3,000 Great Das. The Dao created by cultivating to the Saint Realm could have the same status as the 3,000 Great Das. At this time, it could enlighten thousands of people and create an immortal force. When people in the future mentioned it, they would say that it was the Great Dao's incarnation. The sixth level was called the Saint Realm. It was said that experts at this level would be able to sense a mysterious immortal foundation in their minds. Once they reached Saint Realm, they would be able to touch the Great Heavenly Dao. The seventh level was called the 10,000 Saint Realm, the Emperor of the 10,000 Ancient Times. The 10,000 Dao Si was from the Great Dao. The Saint was the Eternal, the Saint was the Saint Realm, the Saint, the Cultivators, the Saint. In other words, cultivators at this level had a high chance of living until the next epoch. The other cultivators couldn't. The Saint. B. If the Saint, even if there were people protecting them, their bodies would continue to decay. In the end, they died. It was destroyed along with the destruction of the epoch. Only cultivators above the 10,000 Saint Realm would have no effect on the Saint Realm. Of course, it didn't mean that cultivators above the 10,000 Saint Realm would be able to survive. For example, they might be killed by other experts or die in battle. They wouldn't be able to live to the next era. However, if they weren't killed by others, they would be able to live to the next era. The eighth level was called the Saint Realm. The Saint Realm was the god of the Saint Realm. They grasped the mysteries of the Great Dao and could create all kinds of mysterious Great Das. The ninth level was even more powerful. It was the Saint Master Realm. For example, the ancient Saint Emperor of the human race, the Demon Lord of the demonic Dao, and the Demon Lord of the demon race. The Minor Sixth Dao Master, the first Nether King. There was also the First Time God, Space God, and so on. They were all experts at this level. In theory, the Saint Master had reached the peak of cultivation. However, it didn't seem to be the case. It was said that there was a realm above the Saint Master. However, no one knew what realm it was exactly. Some people guessed. The mastermind was the ruler of the world. It was an existence that surpassed the Saint Master. Therefore, the mastermind was the ruler of the world and could cause the destruction of an era. The ninth level of the Saint Realm. In fact, every level was very powerful. Even the first level of the Saint Realm was very powerful. As for the third level of the Saint Realm and the Great Saint Realm, they were even more unfathomable. Since Lin Feng hadn't interacted with many Saint Realm experts, he couldn't determine what realm they were at. The beautiful woman had said that the power that controlled the Eclipse Palm had at least a Great Saint Realm expert. It seemed like the other party's strength was not to be underestimated. Lin Feng said, "Thank you for your concern. I will be more careful." The beautiful woman smiled and nodded. She had reminded Lin Feng because she wanted to get closer to Lin Feng. As for whether Lin Feng would cause trouble for the other party after knowing their identity, it had nothing to do with her. It didn't matter. An elder walked into the living room. "Elder son, have you found out who that person is?" The beautiful woman asked. It seemed that this elder was in charge of investigating that cultivator's identity. Elder son said, "Reporting to the Tower Lord, we have found out." "Who is he?" Lin Feng asked with a gloomy face. That guy was already on Lin Feng's must-kill list. Lin Feng didn't care what kind of expert was behind that guy. So what if he had a Saint Master-level expert behind him? Lin Feng would still kill him. "Futian Cave, Xianqinzi," Elder Son said. After hearing the words Futian Cave, Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. This was interesting. It was actually a power that was as famous as the Saint Heaven Immortal Tower. "All right, Elder Son, you can leave first." The beautiful woman said. "Yes." Elder Son nodded and left the room. The beautiful woman said, "Young master, I have heard of this Xianqinzi. He is the only son of the Futian Cave's vice cave master, Xian Yue." "Xian Yue? Is she a woman?" Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. "Yes. Not only is she a woman, but she is also an extremely terrifying woman." The beautiful woman said. Lin Feng nodded. The Futian Cave was the top power in the eastern region, and this Xian Yue was able to become their vice cave master. This showed how extraordinary this woman was. Lin Feng couldn't help but ask curiously, why didn't this Xianqinzi take his father's surname? Why did he take his mother's surname? Chapter 5402. No one knows who Xianqinzi's father is. Everyone only knows that his mother is Xian Yue. The beautiful woman said. Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. Was Xianqinzi really that mysterious? Lin Feng didn't believe that Xianqinzi was the child of Xian Yue and some shady man. That was basically impossible. After all, Xian Yue was too extraordinary. Therefore, Xianqinzi's father had to be someone important. Xian Yue hadn't announced the identity of Xianqinzi's father because she wanted to keep it a secret. Of course, Lin Feng didn't care who Xianqinzi's father was. That guy was definitely going to die. What's Xian Yue's cultivation level? Lin Feng asked curiously. The beautiful woman said, she's probably one of the prime saints. Prime saints didn't refer to a specific realm, but a combination of several realms. 9th level saint realm. It was a more detailed classification. In fact, many people referred to the 9th level saint realm as the 4th level saint realm. That was because some people referred to the saint rudiment realm and small saint realm as initial saints, great saint realm, saint king realm, and Tao saint realm as culmination saints, celestial saint realm, 10,000 saint realm, and saint realm as eternal saints. Eternal saints were what many people referred to as prime saints. The highest level Saint Lord realm experts were called governing saints. The word command meant to rule. The commanding sage was the sage who ruled over the myriad worlds. As for why there was such a classification, no one knew. Of course, names were just names. It didn't affect the classification of cultivators. The specific classification of the saint realm, or the 9th level. The prime saints that the beautiful woman referred to were the celestial saint realm, 10,000 saint realm, and saint realm, regardless of which realm one was at. In fact, they were already terrifying enough. Lin Feng continued asking, Fairy, do you know where Xianqinzi went? The beautiful woman said, I've heard about it because there's going to be a huge duel in Xianwen City soon. I'm guessing that Xianqinzi will go there. A huge duel? What kind of duel is this? Asked Lin Feng. He was surprised. One has a terrifying background, but I don't know who the other is. It's said Qin Ingtian comes from the celestial world. He's from the celestial world. Hearing that, Lin Feng couldn't help but be surprised. If that was the case, then it was indeed extraordinary. Where's the other one? She's a woman. She calls herself Hong Chun, the celestial master of the immortal world. Nobody knows how she offended the leader of the 33 celestial masters. The leader of the 33 celestial masters sent some strong cultivators to kill her, but they all died. In the end, Celestial Emperor sent Qin Ingtian to deal with her personally. When Lin Feng heard Hong Chun, the celestial master, his eyebrows twitched. Lin Feng hadn't thought the celestial master Hong Chun would also enter the time reversal world. Back then, the Red World Fairy had been looking everywhere for something. Was she preparing to enter the world of time reversal? He thought about it carefully. It seemed like it was possible. Lin Feng said, "Thank you for telling me. How many celestial stones is the information I've gathered today worth?" The beautiful woman smiled. "You don't have to pay for the information. Just treat it as making friends with you." When Lin Feng heard her, he said, "All right, you're my friend, celestial being. Are you free tonight, young master? It just so happens that I'm going to visit the city with a few friends. How about we go together?" The beautiful woman said with a smile. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He didn't know if the beautiful woman was really going to visit the city with a few friends, or if she had other motives. But Lin Feng really didn't have the time to go. He couldn't wait to go to Xianwen City to look for that bastard Xianqinzi. Besides, Lin Feng wanted to go to Xianwen City to watch the battle. He didn't know if the Red World Fairy could defeat Qin Ingtian. Lin Feng didn't know how strong Qin Ingtian was. But since he had the trust of the 33 Heavens Masters, it was obvious how terrifying he was. So, Lin Feng was worried about the Red World Fairy. The Red World Fairy was Lin Feng's first wife after all. Lin Feng said, "Fairy, it's such a coincidence. I'll be leaving Sandstorm City soon, so I won't be able to visit the city with you. Please forgive me." The beautiful woman smiled. "It's fine. We have plenty of time in the future. There's plenty of time. It won't be too late to meet again next time." "All right." Lin Feng nodded. After leaving the pavilion of heavenly rain, Lin Feng and Tao Dai headed to their residence. Tao Dai said, "Do you know the Red World Fairy?" "How do you know?" Lin Feng asked. Tao Dai said, "Because when that woman mentioned the Red World Fairy, your expression changed. So, I guess that you know the Red World Fairy." Lin Feng nodded. "Of course I know her. She's my first wife." This was the first time Lin Feng had told anyone that the Red World Fairy was his first wife. Lin Feng didn't dare to tell the Red World Fairy about this. Tao Dai was surprised and immediately said, "Is what you just said true? That the Red World Fairy is really your first wife?" "Of course it's true," Lin Feng said. Tao Dai said, "Why do I feel like it's fake? When we reach Xianwen City and meet the Red World Fairy, I'll ask her." Lin Feng almost vomited blood when he heard Tao Ye's words. Lin Feng was speechless. "You're really something." Tao Tai smiled. "I knew that the Red World Fairy isn't your wife." "I guessed right," said Lin Feng. "Not now, but very soon, I will." After the two returned to their residence, Lin Feng bid farewell to Hong Yu, and the others before leaving with Tao Tai. Lin Feng summoned the ancient spaceship Xianyuan. He boarded the Xianyuan ancient starship with Tao Tai. Then, they took the Xianyuan ancient starship and headed towards the Xianwen City. In fact, if Tao Tai wasn't by his side, Lin Feng wouldn't have summoned the ancient spaceship Xianyuan. It was too big of a target. It could easily attract many terrifying creatures, but since Tao Tai was on the ancient spaceship Xianyuan, he didn't have to worry about these things. Very few creatures dared to provoke Tao Tai. Even if they were stronger than Tao Tai, they wouldn't dare to provoke it after sensing its aura. After all, Tao Tai was an evil beast. It was very talented. Now that they had provoked Tao Tai, if they couldn't kill it, they could only wait for Tao Ye's revenge. Therefore, those powerful creatures didn't want to provoke Tao Tai. Sogu's website. Chapter 5403. The ancient starship Xianyuan flew at an extremely fast speed. They did not encounter any danger along the way. Since the distance from Xianwen City was quite far, it would take them about 20 days to reach there. On this day, the ancient starship Xianyuan was flying through the void. Suddenly, the void trembled slightly. Then, an ancient ship jumped out of the void. Then, it slammed into the ancient starship Xianyuan. At this moment, Lin Feng and Tao Dai were resting in the cabin. Therefore, they did not know much about the situation outside. The ancient starship Xianyuan emitted a violent sound of impact. Lin Feng thought that the ancient starship Xianyuan had been attacked by some terrifying existence. He and Taodai quickly rushed out. Then, the corners of Lin Feng's mouth twitched violently, because he had seen the collision of the ships. The back of the ancient starship Xianyuan had caved in, and many parts of the ship were broken. One had to know that the ancient starship Xianyuan was protected by many powerful restrictions, but it still ended up like this. From this, one could see how powerful the force of the collision was. Lin Feng felt extremely distressed for his ancient starship Xianyuan. Repairing the ancient starship Xianyuan was not something that could be done in a day. He did not know how many precious materials he would have to use. As for the other party's ancient ship, the front part was completely broken. The ancient ship was basically scrapped. It would be very difficult to repair it. At this time, a tall female cultivator wearing a purple robe walked out of the cabin. Seeing her ancient ship in such a state, she immediately showed an expression of wanting to cry. Then, she looked at Lin Feng and Taodai angrily and loudly accused. How did you control the ancient ship? Do you know how to control the ancient ship? If it were not for your ancient ship blocking the way, would my ancient ship have been damaged so badly? After hearing the female cultivator's words, Lin Feng and Taodai became speechless. The ancient starship Xianyuan was flying in front of them. Did they offend anyone? Now, the ancient starship Xianyuan had been hit to such a state. Instead, they were being accused. Was today's matter the victim's fault? Lin Feng said speechlessly, "You are the one who did not have eyes and drove the ancient ship to crash into our ship. Now, the guilty party is complaining. Humans need face, trees need bark. You are a woman with a pretty face. How can you be so shameless?" After hearing Lin Feng's words, the woman said angrily, "You dare to talk to me like this? Did you eat your bear's heart and leopard gall? Do you know who I am? Do you believe that I can kill you 1,000 times, or even 10,000 times with a single command?" This woman was extremely rude and unreasonable. From her words, it could be guessed that her family background was quite good. But did having a good background give one the right to run amok? It deity was not. Since you're a woman, as long as you apologize, I won't bother with you. But now, I've changed my mind, said Lin Feng. Some deity, but you are not. If I don't teach you a lesson, you might not know the meaning of the phrase, there is always someone better than you. Lin Feng could not help but sneer. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng directly jumped onto the female cultivator's ancient ship. The female cultivator looked at Lin Feng disdainfully and said, "You dare to say such words to me? I think you are the one who overestimates yourself. Watch how I teach you a lesson today." As soon as the female cultivator finished speaking, a flaming whip appeared in her hand. Then, the female cultivator ruthlessly lashed out at Lin Feng with the flaming whip. Lin Feng was speechless. He was clearly the one who was being unreasonable. However, she still had the attitude of, "I am not wrong, you are wrong." He did not know who had spoiled the female cultivator to this bad habit. In the face of the female cultivator's whip, Lin Feng moved to the left and easily dodged the female cultivator's whip. Then, he quickly arrived in front of the female cultivator and directly grabbed her. The female cultivator's expression suddenly changed. Before, she thought that Lin Feng was just a very ordinary cultivator. But now she knew. Lin Feng was actually not simple. She had underestimated Lin Feng before. The female cultivator wanted to dodge Lin Feng's grab, but it was too late. Lin Feng grabbed the female cultivator's wrist. Then, he suddenly exerted force. The female cultivator's body was pulled over by Lin Feng. She was directly held in Lin Feng's arms. Then, Lin Feng lightly tapped the female cultivator's body, and the female cultivator's mana was immediately imprisoned by Lin Feng. What are you doing? Hurry up and let go of me." The female cultivator screamed. She had been thinking about how to teach Lin Feng a lesson and not be caught by Lin Feng. Now, she had become Lin Feng's prisoner. This time, she was completely at a loss. Lin Feng said, "I don't want to do anything. I just want to punish you well and teach you a lesson." As Lin Feng spoke, he sized up the female cultivator's graceful and moving body. After noticing Lin Feng's gaze, the female cultivator thought that Lin Feng was having ideas about her. Her pretty face suddenly turned pale. Don't have any improper thoughts about me. If you dare to touch me, the expert behind me will not let you off. The female cultivator said, Who is the expert behind you? Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and asked, Xinyuan Changfeng. The female cultivator said. When she mentioned this name, she couldn't help but reveal a proud expression. Then, she looked at Lin Feng. She wanted to see shock, disbelief, fear, and other expressions on Lin Feng's face. However, she couldn't see any of these expressions on Lin Feng's face. This made the female cultivator extremely disappointed. It shouldn't be. To be able to remain so calm after hearing the name Xinyuan Changfeng. Even if there was such a person, it shouldn't be a young cultivator like Lin Feng. Don't you feel afraid? The female cultivator asked. Afraid of what? Lin Feng looked at the female cultivator doubtfully. At the same time, he muttered to himself. He didn't know what the female cultivator was talking about. The female cultivator said, Xinyuan Changfeng. After hearing this name and knowing that he is the person behind me, aren't you afraid? Lin Feng said, Who is Xinyuan Changfeng? Is he very powerful? After hearing Lin Feng's words, the corner of the female cultivator's mouth couldn't help but twitch slightly. She looked at Lin Feng as if she was looking at an alien and said, You haven't even heard of Xinyuan Changfeng? Lin Feng said speechlessly, No, and I don't want to know who this guy is. Right now, we should talk about compensation. The female cultivator obviously didn't intend to talk about compensation with Lin Feng. She looked at Lin Feng and said, Xinyuan Changfeng is the cliff master of Peerless Cliff. After saying this, the female cultivator stared at Lin Feng without blinking, as if she wanted to see shock or fear on Lin Feng's face. End of chapter. Chapter 5404. Peerless Cliff was one of the 4 major powers in the eastern region. Naturally, it was extremely terrifying. To be able to become the cliff master of Peerless Cliff, Lin Feng didn't know how powerful Xinyuan Changfeng was. He must be an existence so terrifying that others couldn't help but feel shocked. But so what? Anyway, he didn't know where Xinyuan Changfeng was right now. He didn't need to fear Xinyuan Changfeng. Moreover, Xinyuan Changfeng might be powerful, but such a powerful existence had many things to do. Why would he come out for such a small matter? Moreover, he was entangled with a junior like him? Lin Feng didn't think that the other party would do such a thing. If he did that and the news got out, it would be too embarrassing. Such a powerhouse usually cared a lot about face. Therefore, the other party wouldn't easily make a move. Lin Feng looked at the female cultivator with a smile. Originally, the female cultivator wanted to see what kind of expression Lin Feng would have after knowing Xinyuan Changfeng's true identity. She had thought of many things, such as fear, apprehension, and so on. However, she didn't expect Lin Feng to smile at this moment. What was going on? Seeing Lin Feng smile, the female cultivator felt that something was wrong. Lin Feng asked, What's your name? The female cultivator looked at Lin Feng warily. She asked, Why are you asking for my name? Do you have any ulterior motives? Lin Feng said, I want to see if you have any relationship with Xinyuan Changfeng. Who knows if you're trying to trick me? Hearing Lin Feng's words, the female cultivator said angrily, I'm not trying to trick you. Listen carefully. My name is Xinyuan Ruhan. Who is Xinyuan Changfeng to you? Lin Feng asked. He's my father. The female cultivator said proudly. Lin Feng couldn't help but think. No wonder this little girl's way of doing things was so unreasonable. She had such a powerful background. Lin Feng asked, Is father-in-law doing well? When are we going to meet father-in-law? What father-in-law? Xinyuan Ruhan was somewhat dazed. He didn't know what Lin Feng meant by that. Lin Feng said, Look at what you're saying. If we're together, wouldn't your father be my father-in-law? Xinyuan Ruhan rolled her eyes and said, Who's with you? Don't flatter yourself. Lin Feng said, I've decided to cook the rice with you. Won't this be the end of our relationship? Hearing Lin Feng's words, Xinyuan Ruhan's eyes widened. She screamed in horror. You can't do this to me. I can give you anything you want. Lin Feng smiled and said, Since you're willing to compensate me, I'll take a step back and not make things difficult for you. Hearing Lin Feng say this, Xinyuan Ruhan finally let out a sigh of relief. What do you want? Xinyuan Ruhan asked. You damaged my ancient ship. I need a lot of materials to repair it. Lin Feng said, but I don't have any materials to repair it. However, if you come with me to Xianwen City, I can ask the Peerless Cliffs merchants there to gather the materials for you. Lin Feng said, that's good. I'm going to Xianwen City too. Lin Feng let go of Xinyuan Ruhan and put the ancient ship away. The ancient Starry Sky ship, Xinyuan, was seriously damaged and could no longer fly. As for Xinyuan Ruhan, he put her ancient ship away as well. Then, Xinyuan Ruhan took out another ancient ship. Get on, Xinyuan Ruhan said. Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. This girl actually had so many ancient ships. It felt as if he had met a tycoon. One had to know that her ancient ship wasn't an ordinary one. It was extremely rare, and it was very difficult to obtain one. However, she had 2 of them. Maybe she had more, but she didn't take them out. However, when he thought about Xinyuan Ruhan's identity, Lin Feng felt relieved. As Xinyuan Changfeng's daughter, naturally, she had all kinds of treasures. The ancient ship jumped into the void again. Lin Feng sat on a stool in the cabin. The Taotai was admiring the murals in the cabin, because there were many fierce beasts in the murals. One of them was the Taotai. Who are you? Xinyuan Ruhan looked at Lin Feng and asked. She was actually curious about Lin Feng's identity, because Lin Feng had subdued her so easily. This was inconceivable. After all, Xinyuan Ruhan was an 8th-layer golden immortal. If a cultivator who had cultivated for many years could subdue her, Xinyuan Ruhan wouldn't make a fuss. However, Lin Feng was too young. He wasn't even 200 years old. In the world of cultivators, many people would go into seclusion for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of years. Lin Feng wasn't even 200 years old. He was actually so powerful. It was indeed too shocking. I'm your man, Lin Feng said with a smile. You're infuriating me. Xinyuan Ruhan looked at Lin Feng angrily. After seeing Lin Feng's hateful face, she had the urge to beat Lin Feng up. However, no choice. She wasn't Lin Feng's opponent. She could only endure for now. If you don't want to say it, then don't. I don't want to know either. Xinyuan Ruhan snorted coldly. Although Xinyuan Ruhan was arrogant and despotic, in reality, Lin Feng felt that she was a little childish. She had probably been spoiled since she was young. After all, Xinyuan Ruhan's background was too extraordinary. That night, Lin Feng couldn't help but open his eyes. His perception was very strong. Now, Lin Feng felt a gloomy and cold aura permeating the air. That gloomy and cold aura made him feel very uncomfortable. Now, Lin Feng's cultivation had improved greatly. It was an existence that could make him feel threatened. It must have reached the Saint Realm. Now, it was night, and night was the most dangerous time. Get up, I'm afraid there's trouble, Lin Feng said in a low voice. Taotai and Xinyuan Ruhan both opened their eyes. Xinyuan Ruhan asked, what trouble? I don't know, but I feel that danger is approaching, Lin Feng said in a low voice. Xinyuan Ruhan had the ability to scare off unknown creatures. In addition, Taotai could compete with some Saint Realm existences. But the other party still attacked. This meant that the other party had completely ignored Xinyuan Ruhan and Taotai. So, the unknown creature approaching the ancient ship was definitely terrifying beyond imagination. Crack, crack. At that moment, the sound of friction against the ancient ship could be heard. It was as if something was trying to tear apart the ancient ship's restrictions. Sogu read. Chapter 5405. Something's attacking the ancient ship seals. Xinyuan Ruhan's face was pale. The ancient ship was a treasure she had refined, so she could sense anything that was happening. The voice outside the ancient ship caused Xinyuan Ruhan's heart to tremble slightly. Whatever was outside was extremely terrifying. It dares to attack us at night. It's obvious how terrifying it is. We have to think of a way to restrain it. We can't let it break through the ancient ship seals. Otherwise, the 3 of us will die here. Lin Feng was well aware of that, but he hadn't thought of a way to deal with the unknown cultivators outside. Didn't your father leave you anything powerful? Lin Feng looked at Xinyuan Ruhan. Lin Feng felt that since Xinyuan Ruhan dared to come out alone, She must have some powerful methods. Of course. I have a Saint Buddha banner here. I don't know if it can deal with that guy outside. Saint Buddha banner? What's that? Lin Feng asked curiously. Said Xinyuan Ruhan. It's a very special treasure. It was refined by a Buddha, and it contains the Buddha's celestial reflection of heaven and earth. Once activated, it can suppress many terrifying creatures. Lin Feng naturally knew what kind of terrifying creature Xinyuan Ruhan was talking about. She was referring to creatures of the dark element. Creatures of the dark element were often restrained by Buddhist methods. The unknown creatures in the reverse time world. Many of them were creatures of the dark element. Hurry up and take out the Saint Buddha banner. Xinyuan Ruhan nodded. Xinyuan Ruhan nodded and waved her hands. In an instant, a treasure flew out. It was a treasure. It was the Saint Buddha banner that Xinyuan Ruhan had mentioned before. After the banner was taken out, it emitted a dazzling holy light. Every ray of holy light shone out. It seemed to be able to disperse the darkness. It spread the power of light between heaven and earth. The Saint Buddha banner quickly flew out. It floated outside the ancient ship. And then, the Saint Buddha banner's endless holy light enveloped the ancient ship. But demonic light tumbled. In an instant, the Buddha's light was devoured. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng and the other two's expressions abruptly changed. Even though Lin Fan did not know what the existence in the dark was, the means of that existence was truly terrifying. Buddha was supposed to restrain demons. But now, the devil had devoured the power of the Buddha. The existence that was being restrained was instead suppressing the thing that could restrain it. This explained a lot of things. The demonic light enveloped the holy Buddha banner. It seemed to want to destroy the holy Buddha banner. Naturally, Xinyuan Ruhan wasn't willing to let the sage Buddha pennant be swallowed by the demonic light. Therefore, she continued to urge the sage Buddha pennant to counterattack. Namo Amitba. At this moment, a majestic voice resounded through the world. Next, the image of an old monk appeared in the holy Buddha banner. The old monk was surrounded by endless Buddhist light. It was incomparably sacred. There were 10 halos behind him. Those 10 halos, mysterious and unfathomable. Each of the halos contained unimaginable power. That halo was very special. It represented one's understanding of Buddhism. The old monk seemed to have become the only thing between heaven and earth. The darkness was constantly being dispelled. Seeing this, Lin Feng and the other two couldn't help but smile. Xinyuan Ruhan said, "Just wait and see. That unknown existence will be repelled very soon. If it doesn't leave, then only death awaits it." But, just as Xinyuan Ruhan's voice fell, there was an unforeseen event. In the darkness, a huge tentacle stretched out. It was a pitch-black tentacle. That tentacle, it was hidden in the rolling black fog. When the Buddha's light shone on the tentacle, the Buddha's light was actually absorbed by the tentacle. This scene shocked Lin Feng and the other two. That tentacle, what in the world was it? Everything was a mystery. Break. At this moment, the old monk opened his large hand and slapped at the tentacle. The old monk seemed to want to destroy the tentacle. But, when the old monk's attack landed on the tentacle, the old monk was shocked. The old monk's attack was also swallowed by the tentacle. Damn, what kind of tentacle is this? Lin Feng, who was on the ancient ship, almost jumped up. This was really troublesome. Lin Feng felt. Xinyuan Ruhan's magic treasure was probably unable to deal with that unknown existence. It was just as Lin Feng had guessed. In the next moment, that tentacle broke through the layers of defense. It arrived in front of the holy Buddha banner. It directly wrapped around the holy Buddha banner. Then, the tentacle quickly retracted. Xinyuan Ruhan's connection with the holy Buddha banner was cut off. Xinyuan Ruhan's face was a little pale. She said, "That unknown existence forcefully cut off my connection with the holy Buddha banner. This was really bad news that couldn't be any worse." Crack crack. That unknown existence began to destroy the ancient ship's restrictions again. Lin Feng planned to use the heavenly flames to deal with it. He didn't know if the heavenly flames would be useful. He took out the 7 heavenly flames. The 7 heavenly flames immediately enveloped the entire ancient ship. Lin Feng sensed a ball of darkness outside the ancient ship. That terrifying existence was probably hiding in the darkness. Lin Feng controlled the heavenly flames to refine the ball of darkness. Intense burning sounds could be heard. Heavenly flames? You actually control so many heavenly flames. The unknown existence in the darkness let out a sinister and terrifying voice. Heavenly flames are useless against me. That terrifying existence continued. Lin Feng realized that his celestial fire didn't have any effect on that terrifying being. Thus, Lin Feng withdrew the heavenly flames. But just as Lin Feng withdrew the heavenly flames, the ancient ship's restrictions began to rapidly shatter. Not good. Seeing this scene, Lin Feng, Xinyuan Ruhan, and Taoya's expressions changed drastically. Abandon the ship and leave, Lin Feng said. He hurriedly used the Tao of space and summoned a spatial door. He then swept up the Tao Dai and Xinyuan Ruhan, intending to use the spatial door to leave. However, the space gate instantly crumbled. Lin Feng and the other two didn't manage to leave. When Lin Feng saw that, he couldn't help but smile wryly. Actually, Lin Feng had already guessed this would happen. That terrifying existence. How could it let them leave so easily? Bang! With a loud sound, the ancient ship's restrictions were completely shattered. Demonic energy churned, covering the sky. Within the demonic energy, a pair of pale green eyes coldly looked at Lin Feng and the other two on the ancient ship. Sogu's reading sight. Chapter 5406. When he saw those eyes, Lin Feng could only smile bitterly. The ancient ship's defensive restriction was completely destroyed. Lin Feng and the others faced the unknown and terrifying existence. They couldn't see through the rolling devil chi to see what kind of terrifying creature it was. Now, they were at a loss of what to do. But Lin Feng and the others naturally wouldn't allow themselves to be captured. Lin Feng took out the 36 bamboo swords. At the same time, the ancient Buddhist skeleton. Lin Feng took out the ancient Buddhist kasaya. Perhaps he could use these treasures to deal with the terrifying existence in front of him. Xinyuan Ruhan also took out one of her own treasures. Xinyuan Ruhan took out a golden Buddha pendant. She grabbed the golden Buddha pendant in her hand. Golden Buddha light surged out from the pendant and protected Xinyuan Ruhan. Let me tell you, my father is the peak master of the peerless cliff, Xinyuan Changfeng. If you know what's good for you, leave quickly. If you dare to hurt me, my father won't let you go. Xinyuan Ruhan threatened loudly. After hearing Xinyuan Ruhan's threat, Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. Xinyuan Ruhan. She was really naive. Did she think that this terrifying existence would be afraid of her father? What bullshit, Xinyuan Changfeng. I've never heard of this person. When I was in the time reversal world, this Xinyuan Changfeng was still playing around. The existence in the darkness said sarcastically. This guy was full of contempt for Xinyuan Changfeng. This made Xinyuan Ruhan furious. In her heart, her father was a great hero. In fact, it was normal. Many children saw their father as a great hero. Moreover, as the peak master of the peerless cliff, Xinyuan Changfeng was really terrifying. Now, she was actually despised by this unknown existence. Xinyuan Ruhan was naturally furious. But, no matter how angry Xinyuan Ruhan was, she didn't dare to say anything now. Who asked this terrifying existence to be so powerful? Lin Feng, on the other hand, heard something special from the terrifying being's words. He said, "It seems like you're an existence that has just been born. Could it be that he was suppressed by someone before? Why did you only break the seal now?" That terrifying existence sneered. "Who can suppress me? I'm undying and indestructible, and I'm invincible." Hee, I don't know if he's invincible or not, but he's really good at bragging. "He's definitely invincible," said Lin Feng. Lin Feng said sarcastically. After hearing Lin Feng's words, the unknown existence didn't get angry. "How could a junior like you know how powerful I am?" Lin Feng asked. "Then who are you?" "No, I'm not human. I'm from Kunlun," the terrifying existence said. Kunlun. It was a very unfamiliar name. However, Lin Feng felt that it was somewhat familiar. Soon, Lin Feng remembered the origin of Kunlun. Kunlun. Wasn't it referring to the Kunlun universe? Kunlun, 9 states, nirvana, and time universes. The world Lin Feng was in was the Nine States universe. It was called the Nine States universe because the Nine States universe was the starting point of the new era. The name of the 9 prefectures had been passed down since ancient times. This was the origin of the Nine States universe. What were the creatures of the other universe? They referred to the creatures of Kunlun, nirvana, and time universes. They came from across universes. They became what the cultivators of the Nine States universe called the creatures of the other universe. The creatures of the other universe were naturally a group of extremely detestable existences. The cultivators of the Nine States universe hated the creatures of the other universe because they came to the Nine States universe and wantonly slaughtered the cultivators of the Nine States universe, then crazily plundering their resources. Existences that could cross universes were usually very powerful. Therefore, the cultivators of the Nine States universe were at a disadvantage against the creatures of the other universe. Over time, this kind of hatred grew deeper and deeper. What kind of universe is Kunlun? Lin Feng asked. Among the 4 universes, Kunlun is the oldest universe. There are many existences in that universe that you can't even imagine. The terrifying and unknown creature said. And you? Are you a pitiful creature that was banished by that universe? Lin Feng sneered. Ordinary people wouldn't speak like you. Lin Feng asked, how would they speak? Their attitude wouldn't be so aggressive. They might even beg for mercy. The unknown creature said, I don't think that's necessary. Since you attacked, it means that you won't let us go. Lin Feng sneered. You're right. The unknown creature said with a cold smile. Therefore, I choose to live with dignity. Lin Feng said, I quite admire you. You've just been born, and you're already able to eat a cultivator like you. Not bad. As soon as it finished speaking, tentacles wrapped around Lin Feng and the others. Slash. Lin Feng controlled the 36 bamboo swords and slashed at the tentacles. The 36 bamboo swords slashed at the tentacles, but they were actually repelled. Damn. After seeing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but curse in a low voice. This was too abnormal, wasn't it? Really? Unimaginable. Inconceivable. Hurry up and hide inside. At this moment, Xinyuan Ruhan shouted. Xinyuan Ruhan activated the golden Buddha pendant. After it was activated, a golden light surged out. The dazzling golden light illuminated the world. It formed a huge golden light shield. It protected Xinyuan Ruhan within. Lin Feng didn't dare hesitate and called back the 36 bamboo swords. He immediately entered the golden Buddha light shield. The Taodai also quickly entered the golden Buddha light shield. After Lin Feng's ancient Buddha skeleton sensed the aura of the golden Buddha pendant, a terrifying aura surged out. Fury of the Buddha ancestor. Suddenly, the ancient Buddha skeleton opened its mouth. The ancient Buddha skeleton's hands continuously formed seals. It seemed to be displaying a peerless technique. After seeing the changes in the ancient Buddha skeleton, Lin Feng's face suddenly revealed a look of ecstasy. The ancient Buddha skeleton had undergone such a change. Could it be that the ancient Buddha skeleton could repel that terrifying existence? The ancient Buddha skeleton released an endless amount of Buddha light, and within the Buddha light, there was a monstrous fury. In an instant, many tentacles were shattered, and the tentacles retracted. Lin Feng and the others couldn't help but be overjoyed. However, in the next moment, the unknown existence roared, "Damn it! You've hurt me. I'm going to swallow you all." As soon as it finished speaking, demons swallowed the heavens. Darkness covered the world. Lin Feng, Xinyuan Ruhan, the Taotai, and the ancient ship were all swallowed by the unknown existence in one gulp. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5407. The world was spinning. Lin Feng knew. They had been swallowed into the body of the unknown existence. How tragic. Would they be digested by the unknown existence and turned into its own nutrients? If that was the case, they really wanted to cry but had no tears. The current situation was indeed extremely dangerous for Lin Feng and the others. The unknown existence actually dared to swallow Lin Feng and the others. This meant that the fellow was confident in digesting Lin Feng and the others. But there was endless darkness in front of them. They wanted to get out. They didn't know where to get out. Not long after, the ancient ship was suspended above a lake. That lake was a green lake. It emitted a foul smell. Some liquid dripped down from it. The dripping liquid immediately emitted a burning sound. The deck of the ship was corroded, leaving holes one after another. It's digestive fluid. We're in its stomach. Tao Tai said with a gloomy expression. Damn, this fellow's stomach is so big. Lin Feng couldn't help but wail. He looked in all directions and couldn't see the end. This unknown existence's stomach was really too big. It's really disgusting, Xinyuan Ruhan said. Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. At this point, they were still thinking about whether it was disgusting or not. What they should be thinking about now was whether they could get out of here alive. The current situation was really too dangerous for Lin Feng and the others. At present, Lin Feng couldn't think of a way to leave this place. Tao Tai, how do you think we should leave? Find the walls of that fellow's stomach and then tear apart its body. Is this realistic? Lin Feng asked. Of course not. Tao Tai shook its head. It said, the stomach of this existence is like a huge world. You can't find the end at all. And by the time you look for it, the digestive fluid here will have already dissolved you. Tao Tai was also good at swallowing. Therefore, in this aspect, Tao Tai actually had a lot of right to speak. Since Tao Tai said so, Lin Feng naturally didn't think that Tao Tai was joking. Tao Tai said so. It should all be real. Since they couldn't find the other party's stomach wall, there was no need to talk about breaking the other party's stomach wall. This was something that was absolutely impossible. This was really bad. The feeling of slowly waiting for death. It was really unbearable. I don't want to die, Xinyuan Ruhan cried out in alarm. This little girl seemed to be a little slow in sensing danger. This was because when she was being devoured, the first thing she thought of was not her own safety. Instead, it was the surrounding environment. Was it disgusting? Until now. Only then did he realize that he might die here. Crack, crack. At this time, Lin Feng heard the sound of the hull being dismembered. The corner of Lin Feng's mouth twitched violently. It seemed like the ancient ship couldn't withstand the melting of the digestive fluid. Wasn't this digestive fluid a little too terrifying? If the ancient ship is damaged, it will be even more troublesome. We won't have a place to stay. Do you have a new ancient ship? Lin Feng asked Xinyuan Ruhan. After all, the ancient ship had been damaged by that unknown and terrifying creature, so it wasn't surprising that it couldn't withstand the digestive fluid for a long time. But if it was a complete ancient ship, it might have been able to last longer. Xinyuan Ruhan looked like she was about to cry. No, I only have 2 ancient ships. The previous one was damaged, so this is the only one left. Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. The ancient ship was dismembered more and more. Before long, the ancient ship was completely dismembered. Of course, Lin Feng and the others didn't fall into the digestive fluid. After all, they could still fly. However, the digestive fluid kept dripping down from above. They had to be on guard against the fluid dripping down from above. They couldn't afford to let it fall on their bodies, or it would be very dangerous. Lin Feng and the others flew above the lake formed by the digestive fluid. They used their magic power barriers to block the digestive fluid that they couldn't avoid. Sometimes, the fluid would drip on the barriers. The barriers were instantly corroded. Damn it, I've been hunting geese all day, but now I've been pecked blind, Tao Tai said gloomily. Usually, it was Tao Tai who devoured others, but now it was being devoured. Tao Tai was naturally very gloomy. Lin Feng and the others flew for a long time. Their magic power was being consumed very quickly in this place. Although they had immortal stones to replenish their magic power, the speed of replenishment was obviously not proportional to the speed of consumption. As their magic power continued to be consumed, Lin Feng and the others' mood became heavier and heavier. They still couldn't find a way to escape. Moreover, that unknown existence seemed to know that Lin Feng and the others weren't dead yet. So, in the stomach world of that terrifying existence, there would be waves or torrential rain from time to time. Those weren't real waves, but waves formed by the digestive fluid. That wasn't real rain either. It was a torrential rain formed by the digestive fluid. The lethality was too great. Lin Feng had already lost more than a dozen defensive immortal tools. If this continued, they would definitely die here. I don't want to die. Hurry up and save me. Xinyuan Ruhan shouted. Don't shout. Even if you shout, no one will come. Lin Feng said. That's not necessarily true. Maybe my father and I have a telepathic connection, and he'll hear my cries and come save me? Xinyuan Ruhan said. It had to be said that this girl really knew how to comfort herself. In a difficult and vile environment, this kind of self-comfort, it was actually very important. After about a day, Lin Feng and the others couldn't hold on any longer. I didn't think that the peerless Xinyuan Ruhan would die here. My life has only just begun. How did it end up like this? How can I be so unlucky? I actually ran into such a terrifying existence. I cursed that guy to die a horrible death. If I have the chance, I'll definitely kill him. Xinyuan Ruhan muttered all sorts of curses to herself, but she still had to face what she had to face. Just as Lin Feng and the others couldn't hold on any longer, suddenly, Lin Feng felt a violent ripple coming from the depths. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Did you feel it? Lin Feng asked the Tao Dai and Xinyuan Ruhan. I felt it, but I don't know what's going on. Let's go take a look. The Tao Dai said. Lin Feng nodded. The three of them didn't stop. They quickly flew towards the source of the ripple. After flying for about an hour, they finally saw what the thing that was emitting such violent fluctuations was. Sogu read. Chapter 5408. It was the Buddha's head of an ancient Buddha. Of course, it wasn't a real Buddha's head. It was the Buddha's head of a statue. The Buddha's head had been severely corroded. It was full of bumps and holes, and who knew how many holes there were. But even so, the Buddha's head was still surrounded by Buddha's light, and it was emitting fluctuations. It was clear. The Buddha's head hadn't been damaged. Seeing this scene, Lin Feng and the other two revealed shocked expressions. Then, Lin Feng quickly flew toward the Buddha's head, wanting to fish it up, because Lin Feng felt that perhaps the Buddha's head would be of some use. But right at this moment, a huge wave surged, sweeping through the world. The digestive fluid formed a huge wave that swept directly toward Lin Feng. That unknown and terrifying existence had made its move. He wanted to stop Lin Feng from obtaining the Buddha's head. This scene caused Lin Feng's eyes to light up. That fellow had stopped him. This meant that the Buddha's head might really be of great help to them. Careful! Xinyuan Ruhan cried out in alarm. It's fine, Lin Feng said. He activated the ruler's armor. The ruler's armor's defense was strong enough. It had no problem blocking the digestive fluid. The only thing he had to be careful of was that his eyes were exposed. But Lin Feng used his magic power to form a defensive light shield. That defensive light shield mainly protected his head. Even if the digestive fluid sprinkled over, it would be blocked by the defensive light shield. Although Lin Feng couldn't block the digestive fluid's corrosion for a long time, but for a short period of time, there was no problem at all. Lin Feng quickly charged over. He passed through the waves formed by the digestive fluid. The digestive fluid splashed onto Lin Feng's body, but it couldn't break through the ruler's armor's defense. The magic power shield protecting Lin Feng's head also blocked the digestive fluid's attack. Finally, Lin Feng arrived in front of the Buddha's head. Powerful magic power surged out, directly sweeping up the Buddha's head. The Buddha's head was very big. It was about 4 to 5 meters in diameter. After Lin Feng grabbed the Buddha's head, a shocking scene occurred. The ancient Buddha skeleton that Lin Feng had put away earlier actually flew out. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng couldn't help but be slightly stunned. Why did the remains of the ancient Buddha fly out? At this moment, an endless Buddhist light gushed out from the Buddha's head. Endless Buddhist light also gushed out from the ancient Buddha skeleton. Two kinds of Buddha light. They actually fused together. Then, Lin Feng heard the endless chirping of cicadas resounding throughout the world. The singing of the cicadas was loud and majestic. It was the sound of ancient Buddha singing. Could it be that the statue of the Buddha head is dedicated to the ancient Buddha? Lin Feng couldn't help but think of a certain possibility. He felt that the possibility of this happening was very high. The ancient Buddha skeleton was one of the 7 ancestral Buddhas when he was alive. The 7 great Buddhas, What kind of terrifying existences were they? Every Buddha ancestor. All of them had grasped countless divine abilities. They were even the seniors of the Lord of the Buddha world. Back then, there were still many statues dedicated to them, but this was no longer the era of the titled gods. Therefore, the people of the present day, they no longer worshipped these ancient Buddhas, and the powers of the present day were rejecting Buddhism. Outside of Buddhism's own territory, there were no Buddhist temples to be seen. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. The Buddha head and the ancient Buddha skeleton spoke at the same time. Then, the Buddha head turned into a stream of light and flew into the body of the ancient Buddha skeleton. Then, a shocking scene appeared. The ancient Buddha skeleton actually began to grow flesh and blood. The ancient Buddha Kasaya also flew out and was draped over the body of the ancient Buddha skeleton. In the end, the ancient Buddha skeleton turned into a benevolent-looking old monk. Heavens, what's going on? Xinyuan Ruhan couldn't help but exclaim. In fact, it wasn't just Xinyuan Ruhan who was shocked. Even Lin Feng was completely shocked. The situation in front of him was really too inconceivable. Anyone who saw this scene would find it inconceivable. Senior. Lin Feng put his palms together. Benefactor, come with me. The old monk said. Yes. Lin Feng said. The Taodai and Xinyuan Ruhan quickly flew over. Lin Feng, the Taodai, and Xinyuan Ruhan followed behind the old monk. Lin Feng didn't know what was going on with the old monk, but no matter what, it didn't matter whether or not the old monk was the ancient Buddha that had died in the past. As long as he could take them away from this damned place, it was fine. The world formed by the stomach of the unknown, terrifying existence suddenly became violent. Violent winds and torrential rain. Lightning flashed and thunder roared. Huge waves surged, engulfing heaven and earth. Namo Amitabha. The old monk put his palms together, and an endless amount of Buddhist light surged out, protecting Lin Feng, the Taotai, and Xinyuan Ruhan. They allowed all kinds of attacks to sweep over, but they couldn't break the Buddhist light. That's great. We'll definitely be able to escape this time, Xinyuan Ruhan said. Lin Feng's expression was solemn. He said, how could it be that simple? Let's wait a little longer. I feel like there's going to be an unforeseen event. The old monk brought Lin Feng and the others to the stomach wall. They couldn't find the stomach wall on their own, but the old monk found it. The stomach wall was like a world's crystal wall. It wanted to break through the stomach wall. It was very difficult, but the old monk should be able to do it. Just as the old monk was about to rush over and attack the stomach wall, suddenly, demonic energy surged, and a pair of terrifying eyes appeared from within the demonic energy. Old bald donkey, you dare to ruin my plans? You don't want to live anymore. The terrifying existence said coldly. Namo Amitabha. Evil saint heavenly demon. You don't belong to this world, so why do you commit so many evil deeds here? The old monk asked. Evil saint heavenly demon. So that terrifying existence was called Evil Saint Heavenly Demon. Hearing the name, it was obvious that it was an extremely terrifying being. His name even had the words, Heavenly Demon, in it. Could that guy be a heavenly demon from another world? What I want to do is my business. It's not up to an old bald donkey like you to interfere. Evil Saint Heavenly Demon sneered. Then, tentacles stretched out from the black fog and wrapped around Lin Feng and the others. Buddha illuminates the heavens. The old monk put his palms together. Endless Buddhist light surged out. It dispelled all evil. After the tentacles were illuminated by the Buddhist light, they quickly burned. They had no choice but to retract them. Demon breaks the heavens. Evil Saint Heavenly Demon continued to attack. A terrifying demonic light flew out. That demonic light was like Panga's divine axe that could split the heavens and earth apart in an instant. That demonic light directly slashed towards the old monk. It wanted to directly kill the old monk. After sensing the attack of that demonic light, Lin Feng and the others' expressions changed drastically. Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5409. Mo Guang's power was really terrifying. Lin Feng was a little worried that the old monk wouldn't be able to withstand Mo Guang's attack. However, to Lin Feng's surprise, the old monk put his palms together in the face of Emoguang's attack. He actually caught Emoguang. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. It seemed that he had underestimated the old monk's means before. Humph. At this moment, the unknown and terrifying existence let out a cold snort. Then he unleashed a new attack. In the void, 99 pitch-black vortexes appeared. 9 was an ominous number. 99. That was the most ominous of ominous. So, the number 9. For a cultivator, it was definitely an extremely bad number. Not to mention 99. The 99 vortexes emitted a gloomy and terrifying aura. After feeling the aura emitted from the 99 vortexes, Lin Feng's mind couldn't help but tremble slightly. He felt that the 99 vortexes would release an unimaginably terrifying attack. But now, he didn't know yet. In the 99 vortexes, what kind of attack would be released? Rumble, rumble, rumble. At this moment, the 99 vortexes all spun violently. Every time they spun, they emitted an aura that made people tremble involuntarily. Bang, 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 bang. Then, a series of loud sounds came out. From the 99 vortexes, 99 thick black pillars of light were shot out. Those black pillars of light, as if they had the power to destroy heaven and earth. That kind of power. It was absolutely shocking. After feeling the power of those pillars of light, Lin Feng's face became extremely ugly. Any pillar of light. It had already made Lin Feng feel the aura of death. Not to mention, what if 99 pillars of light came together? That kind of aura of death. It was too strong. The situation. It was very bad. This point, Lin Feng was very clear. What to do? Lin Feng's expression turned grave. Now, it seemed that they could only pin their hopes on the old monk. There seemed to be no other way. He hoped that the old monk could show his prowess. At this moment, the old monk's hands kept forming hand seals. Then, a Buddhist light shield was formed. The Buddha's light shield protected them. When the Buddha's light shield was formed, 99 light pillars came crashing down. The 99 pillars of light. All of them bombarded the Buddha's light shield. Kacha kacha, Buddha's light shield. It actually began to crack. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng cursed inwardly. The attack just now. This was only the first wave of attacks from the 99 vortexes. The first wave of attacks. Dense cracks had already appeared on the Buddha's light shield. 3 waves of attacks at most. The Buddha's light shield was bound to shatter. Next, Lin Feng and the others would have to face the attacks of the 99 vortexes with their flesh and blood bodies. Just thinking about it made them feel extremely bad. At this moment, the second wave of attacks from the 99 vortexes had already been launched. The second wave of attacks. It was even more powerful than the first wave of attacks. Lin Feng was originally praying that the power of the second wave of attacks would be reduced. But now it seemed. This hope was dashed. Lin Feng felt. The attacks of the 99 vortexes were somewhat similar to his 6 paths of reincarnation fist. Every time they launched a punch, the power would gradually increase. This was the terrifying part of the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. And every time the 99 vortexes launched an attack, the power would be constantly superimposed. The second attack was more powerful than the first attack. The third attack was more powerful than the second attack. The fourth attack was more powerful than the third attack. But the defense of Lin Feng and the others was getting weaker and weaker. Bang, bang, bang. 99 light pillars bombarded the Buddha's light shield. This time, the Buddha's light shield shattered. Lin Feng originally thought that the Buddha's light shield would be able to withstand 3 attacks. Who would have thought? It couldn't withstand 3 attacks. It was only able to withstand 2 attacks before it was completely destroyed. Next, this was going to be troublesome. He had to break the 99 vortexes. Otherwise, he would die. The unknown and terrifying existence said sinisterly, "Old bald donkey, there's no need to struggle. Your death is here. No matter how you struggle, you won't be able to escape death." This guy was still extremely confident in his attacks. The 99 vortexes shook and released an even more powerful and terrifying wave. It seemed. 99 vortexes. They were about to release an even more powerful attack. Danger, danger, danger. Just as the situation was getting dangerous to the point of no delay, the old monk attacked again. Om, ma, in I, pad, me, hum. This time, the old monk used a sound wave attack. He chanted 6 words. These 6 words were the Buddhist mantra of the 6 syllables. The Buddhist mantra of the 6 syllables was on the same level as the Taoists' 9 secrets. They were both the foundation of the sect. The old monk knew the 6 syllables. Lin Feng didn't find it strange. The 6 syllables formed an incomparably terrifying sound wave with the old monk as the center. That sound wave swept out in all directions. Of course, that wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was, when this sound wave flew to the 99 vortexes, amidst the sound wave, it actually formed many Tao characters. Those Tao characters, they were precisely the 6 words Om, Ma, in I, pad, me, hum. The Tao characters fused with the sound wave. They fiercely bombarded the 99 vortexes. Bang, bang, bang. Along with a series of violent explosions, there were sounds of explosions. 99 vortexes. They began to explode. In the blink of an eye, all 99 vortexes exploded. What a terrifying 6 syllables! Lin Feng couldn't help but exclaim. The 6 syllables were indeed the foundation of the Buddhist sect. The power of the 6 syllables was so strong. It moved Lin Feng. Om, ma, in I, pad, me, hum. At this time, the old monk didn't stop. He once again roared out the 6 syllables. This time, the old monk directly launched an attack on that unknown and terrifying existence. That unknown and terrifying existence directly disappeared after seeing the old monk's attack. The old monk's attack didn't hit that unknown and terrifying existence. The old monk didn't chase after the other party. Instead, he quickly rushed to the stomach wall. The old monk wanted to tear that unknown and terrifying existence's body apart from the inside. But at this time, a powerful force wrapped around Lin Feng and the others. That powerful force, it threw Lin Feng and the others out. In the next moment, when Lin Feng and the others appeared again, they were already outside. Damn old bald donkey, when I recover, I will definitely grind your bones into powder. That unknown and terrifying existence roared angrily and then completely disappeared. Night. Very cold. Night. It was also very quiet. Chapter 54:10. Lin Feng and the others could finally heave a sigh of relief. That unknown and terrifying existence was the evil saint celestial devil. Who knew what it was? Although Lin Feng suspected that it was a celestial devil from a foreign world, he didn't think so. Lin Feng suddenly thought of a problem. Could it be that many of the unknown and terrifying existences in the time-reversed world were creatures from the foreign realm? At that moment, the old monk's body seemed like it was about to turn into a skeleton again. Holy monk! Lin Feng opened his mouth, but he didn't know what to say. He really didn't know how to salvage the situation. I'm just a remnant left behind in the statue. Sooner or later, I'll scatter with the wind. I still have some time. If you have any questions, ask them. Asked Lin Feng when he heard the old monk. Holy monk, what kind of creature is that evil saint celestial devil? Is it a celestial devil from a foreign world? The old monk said, as far as I know, it shouldn't be a celestial devil from a foreign world. As for what it is exactly, I'm not very sure. However, it can change its form at will. It's very similar to the legendary all-changing demonic spirit clan. All-changing demonic spirit clan? Is that a race from a foreign world? Lin Feng asked. Yes, and it's an extremely terrifying race. The old monk said. Lin Feng nodded and asked, Holy monk, how can I fully release the power of the Buddha bone? If I'm not mistaken, you should have cultivated the great karma art and the great predestination art. These 2 divine abilities might be able to help you activate the power of the Buddha bone. You can slowly explore them. After saying that, the old monk's body turned into a skeleton again. After seeing the old monk turn into a skeleton, Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. Actually, he still had many questions he wanted to ask the old monk, but now he didn't have the chance. The Buddha head flew out. Then, it completely shattered. The divine power disappeared. There was no possibility of recovery. Lin Feng put away the ancient Buddha skeleton and said, "We can't stay here for long. Let's go." Xinyuan Ruhan and Tao Dai nodded. They didn't dare to stay here any longer. If he could make it out alive this time. For Lin Feng and the others, this was truly a matter of great fortune. The time reversal world was indeed too dangerous. One should never underestimate this world. Otherwise, one would have to pay an extremely heavy price. We're finally here. 10 days later, Lin Feng and the other two saw the ancient city in front of them that looked like a prehistoric beast. In that ancient city, it was Xianwen City. Immortal Wraith City was an ancient city at the level of a main city. It was extremely huge, and there were many cultivators coming and going. This was one of the largest trading markets in the eastern region. It was also one of the largest auction houses in the eastern region. So this place, every day, it would attract countless cultivators. The battle between the Red World Fairy and Qin Ingtian had attracted a lot of attention. It was mainly because Qin Ingtian's reputation was too great. He was a popular person by the side of the 33 Heavens Masters. It was said that he was very young and handsome. He was like a prince in a chaotic world. When Qin Ingtian first appeared, many girls secretly fancied him. On the way, Xinyuan Ruhan already knew that Lin Feng and Tao Dai were here because of the battle between the Red World Fairy and Qin Ingtian. However, she didn't know about the relationship between Lin Feng and the Red World Fairy. She simply thought that Lin Feng and Tao Dai were here to watch the show. After all, during this period of time, there were too many people who came to watch the show. Come with me to the trading company first. I'll give you the things then. Xinyuan Ruhan said, "We don't have a place to stay here. Help us arrange it." Lin Feng said. Xinyuan Ruhan, Lin Feng, and Tao Dai had experienced life and death together, so their relationship was much closer. When she heard Lin Feng ask her to arrange a place to stay, Xinyuan Ruhan didn't refuse. However, she smiled devilishly and said, "Of course, arranging a place to stay is no problem, but even though we know each other, we're brothers. So, you have to pay for food and lodging." Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. "Are you that short of money?" "No, but it's your money. It'll be a waste if I don't earn it," Xinyuan Ruhan said. Lin Feng said, "No problem. It's just food and lodging. I'll give it to you when the time comes." The three of them paid the entrance fee and entered the city. As soon as they entered the city, a group of people rushed over. "Ruhan, you're finally here. You're a few days late. I was worried sick." The leader of the group was a man in his 30s. Of course, he was much older than that. When he saw Xinyuan Ruhan, he heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Feng remembered that Xinyuan Ruhan had said that she was an only child. Therefore, the man who called himself Xinyuan Ruhan's brother shouldn't be Xinyuan Ruhan's biological brother. He was probably an elder brother of the same clan. Then he thought about the fact that the Peerless Cliff had a trading company here. That meant that this man was most likely in charge of the trading company. Since Xinyuan Ruhan had come here, he naturally knew how dangerous the journey had been. That was why he'd been on edge all this time, afraid that something had happened to her. Although Xinyuan Ruhan's accident had nothing to do with him, it had still happened on the way to Xianwen City. If something had happened, who knew if Xinyuan Changfeng would blame him? That was very likely to have happened. But at least nothing had happened. Xinyuan Ruhan didn't mention the danger she'd encountered on the way. She said, "Don't worry. We just ran into some things on the way, so we were delayed." "That's good," the man said. "Ruhan, it's been so many years. How have you been?" At that moment, a young, handsome man smiled and asked. He had sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. He was a rare, handsome man. "You're Xiao Zichen?" Xinyuan Ruhan asked uncertainly. The man smiled and nodded. "That's right. That's me. It's really been so many years. When we parted, I was only 13 and you were 15. More than 200 years have passed since then," said Nalan Ruhan. It's been 200 years. It seemed that Nalan Ruhan hadn't come from the outside world. She might have been born in a world where time had reversed. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself, "That's right. Time really passes too quickly." Xiao Zichen sighed. Then, he narrowed his eyes and glanced at Lin Feng, then at Xinyuan Ruhan. He smiled and said, Ruhan, how should I address these two friends? Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Although Xiao Zichen was smiling, Lin Feng could sense that he was looking at him with a meaningful gaze. Sogu. Chapter 54:11. These two are my friends. This is Lin Feng, and this is Wan Shira. Xinyuan Ruhan introduced them. Now that the Taodai had transformed into a human, it had transformed into Wan Shirtian. So when Xinyuan Ruhan introduced them, she introduced Xiao Zichen as Wan Shirtian. Then, Xinyuan Ruhan introduced Xiao Zichen to Lin Feng and the Taodai. She said, This is Xiao Zichen, the son of Xianwen City's city lord. An ancient city like Xianwen City naturally couldn't be compared to an ordinary city. To be able to become the city lord of Xianwen City, it was clear how extraordinary Xiao Zichen's father was. Then, Xinyuan Ruhan introduced her brother to Lin Feng and Wan Shirtian. Xinyuan Ruhan said, This is an elder brother of my clan. His name is Xinyuan Zixuan. Both sides cupped their fists in greeting. Then, Xinyuan Zixuan said, This isn't the place to talk. Let's go back and talk in detail. Everyone nodded, and the group left. They returned to the Peerless Cliffs Trading Company in Xianwen City. The trading company opened by Unparalleled Cliff was one of the largest trading companies in Xianwen City. Business was very good. After arriving, Xinyuan Zixuan arranged accommodations for Lin Feng and Wan Shirtian. Xiao Zichen knew that Xinyuan Ruhan must be very tired from the journey. So, he didn't disturb her. Instead, he said goodbye and left, saying that he would come back tomorrow to see Xinyuan Ruhan. Before leaving, he glanced at Lin Feng, intentionally or unintentionally. Lin Feng didn't say anything, but his heart was as clear as a mirror. Xiao Zichen probably wanted to pursue Xinyuan Ruhan, but he felt that he was an obstacle in his pursuit of Xinyuan Ruhan. But Xiao Zichen was a very deep person. Perhaps he had enmity towards him, but he didn't show it. When facing him, he had an expression like a spring breeze. They looked like old friends who had known each other for many years. Lin Feng didn't care what Xiao Zichen was thinking or what he was planning. It was fine as long as he didn't provoke him. If he did, then, he didn't care whether or not he was the son of Xianwen City's city lord. When the time came, he would definitely make him suffer the consequences. After leaving the Wushuang trading firm, the smile on Xiao Zichen's face turned slightly cold. Uncle Han, Xiao Zichen said. Sir. A middle-aged man beside Xiao Zichen replied. Go find out who that Lin Feng is. Xiao Zichen said. Yes, sir. The middle-aged man replied. Behind the Wushuang trading firm was a large courtyard. These were also the properties of the Peerless trading firm. However, it was mainly a place for the higher-ups to rest. Lin Feng and Taoye's residence was not far from Xinyuan Ruhan's residence. Xinyuan Ruhan said, 1,000 high-grade immortal stones a day. Don't go back on your word. Lin Feng replied, I don't care about this bit of immortal stones. Puffing yourself up at your own cost. Xinyuan Ruhan snorted. After returning to his residence, Lin Feng had a good rest. In the evening, Xinyuan Zixuan held a welcoming dinner for the three of them. It had been a while since Xinyuan Ruhan had tasted good food. As a result, she didn't care about her ladle-like image and started eating. Xinyuan Zixuan looked at Lin Feng and smiled. Where did Brother Lin come from? Before Lin Feng could say anything, Xinyuan Ruhan said, It hasn't been long since this guy came from the outside world, so there's no need to investigate his identity. Xinyuan Zixuan couldn't help but smile bitterly when Xinyuan Ruhan saw through his intentions. He felt somewhat helpless. Xinyuan Ruhan had always been straightforward when she spoke and acted. She was always like this. Sometimes, she would make people lose face. However, who would dare say anything bad about Xinyuan Ruhan? Xinyuan Zixuan didn't look down on Lin Feng just because of his ordinary status. From his point of view, Xinyuan Ruhan was an extremely arrogant person. Since Lin Feng was able to walk together with Xinyuan Ruhan, this meant that Lin Feng was definitely unique. As for the Taodai, Xinyuan Zixuan could naturally see that the Taodai was just a cultivator following Lin Feng. It was probably a friend of Lin Feng's. Lin Feng said, Oh right, there's something I want to ask Brother Zixuan about. Brother Lin, there's no harm in asking. As long as I know, I'll tell you the truth. Xinyuan Zixuan said, collect money, you must collect money. You still have to collect money when you go to the rain pavilion to gather information. You still have to collect money when you eat outside. Later, you'll have to pay for the tea and food as well. Xinyuan Ruhan immediately called out. Obviously, this girl was still holding a grudge against Lin Feng. Ruhan has always been a bit childish. Brother Lin, please don't blame her, Xinyuan Zixuan said with a bitter smile. It's fine. I won't lower myself to her level, Lin Feng said with a smile. Xinyuan Ruhan said, third brother, you're still speaking for this guy. You're about to anger me to death. You don't even know how badly I was bullied by him before. After hearing Xinyuan Ruhan's words, Xinyuan Zixuan couldn't help but mutter to himself. Xinyuan Zixuan understood Xinyuan Ruhan's temperament all too well. Xinyuan Ruhan had never suffered a loss since she was young. She had suffered a loss at Lin Feng's hands. However, she had happily come to Xianwen City with Lin Feng. This explained a lot of things. Could it be Xinyuan Ruhan and Lin Feng had a deeper relationship? When he thought of this, Xinyuan Zixuan couldn't help but be startled. Xinyuan Zixuan also realized something else. Xinyuan Ruhan would frequently argue with Lin Feng. However, she didn't seem angry at all. If they weren't quarrelsome, then what were they? It seemed that Xiao Zichen didn't have a chance. Although Xinyuan Zixuan was thinking about many things, he still smiled and said, I won't get involved in the matters between the two of you. I knew you weren't reliable, third brother. Xinyuan Ruhan snorted coldly. However, she didn't say anything else. Lin Feng looked at Xinyuan Zixuan and said, actually, we wanted to ask you about the Red World Fairy. Brother Zixuan, do you know anything about the Red World Fairy? Xinyuan Zixuan said, the Red World Fairy is very mysterious. The outside world doesn't know much about her. I only know that she somehow offended the Master of the 33 Heavens, which is why the Master of the 33 Heavens wants to kill her. However, even after sacrificing many experts, he still hasn't succeeded. That's why Qining Tian decided to intervene. They've already fought a few times before, but neither of them was able to do anything to the other. That's why they've agreed to fight to the death. When he heard this, Lin Feng found it hard to believe. The Red World Fairy was so powerful. Qining Tian was actually on par with the Red World Fairy. It seemed that Qining Tian really was a heaven-defying existence. End of chapter. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.